drop out of a race because he truly thought he was the only person who could win.
And still to this day is fighting, saying that he was the only person that could have won. I mean, that narcissistic
well, it's easy to
gene
say
didn't
that,
evaporate.
It's easy to say that the replacement lost.
Right.
You know?
But how long, let's say you do go into politics with a clean heart. You really want to do right by the people. How long does it take for the power and the system to corrupt you? And does it happen at an accelerated rate in Washington, D.C., or is it happening in Jeff City just as fast as it is in D.C.?
It really comes down to what your motivation is. So a lot of people that run for office, part of the reason for doing that is they want to help people. And when you're in office and you've got the position, you actually are in a position to help people. You know, constituents call the office, they're having trouble navigating the Department of Revenue, you help them. I had a deal where my neighborhood pharmacy, Willowbrook Pharmacy, Dr. Langford over there.
Hey, Doc.
He just a little, mom and pop right there on Old Olive. And the state's PPO for pharmacy did not include him. And he's got all of these folks that are on Medicare and different things that come in. And so, he called the office and I knew Dr. Langford, good guy. And so we were able to get him included on the PPO, and so you can help. So that is a motivating thing for holding office. I think when you realize that you've got, because of your position, you're able to actually get inside the system and help people.
Is there a human dynamic though that takes place, John? Because like when you run for office, you're right. You want to go serve. You want to do something. Now you get down to Jefferson City and you're one of 163 representatives. And people about issues that you've never talked about before in your life are coming to talk to you. You're now also in a game almost with you, if you will, of those other 163 people. And it's just a natural human instinct to want to rise up and try to lead that group.
Right.
Then when you get to the top of that pile or in that pile, you think, well, maybe I could be a United States congressman or a United States senator. And what starts with the impetus of doing good and still probably is germinating inside of them that way, also becomes a part of another game.
I think the vast majority of people that run for public office think they're going to be president.
Really?
Yeah. And at least it's, it's a possibility.
Does that explain why when politicians seemingly sell their souls, do they do it, but they genuinely believe in their heart of hearts that they're doing it for the right reasons? Like, well, if I've got to move forward and I've got to help people and continue my career, I might have to compromise and sell my soul to this person who's in power. Because you do see people who seem to say a lot of really good things when they're running for office, when they first get into office, and a couple of years into it, by golly, they've changed because they have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's a case-by-case basis, right? And which is why the framers of our Constitution were so brilliant. And, as Madison said in Federalist 51, we're going to pit ambition against ambition, understanding that people are, flawed without exception. And people are going to seek power and so forth. We created a system of government that takes all into account. And we do pit ambition against ambition, not just between the branches of government, but even within the individual branches of government. It's brilliant.
Layered, deliberate tension.
Yep.
The whole system of government is deliberate tension, like you said, not just between branches of government, but even between, within the House itself, within the Senate, within the parties, and then also between the states and the federal government. Everything is this really tight tension of power based on human nature.
Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Until you need to get something done.
Well, and that's the other side of it, right?
Yep.
Well, in many instances, John, since you're kind of giving us a history lesson, I've talked about this a lot. The system's really set up to not get much done.
It is. It is.
It's meant to make sure that there is really broad consensus before anything can get done. Now we're seeing a lot of those norms broken right now.
Yeah, right. And which is why the explosion, not beginning with Trump, but certainly Trump's part of it, of the whole executive order governing is absolutely contra to what our founders would have envisioned. You giving one person the authority with a stroke of a pen to essentially create law was never intended by the framers.
John always has this analogy that he uses, and John really is a great historian of our government and the way that it's set up, but he has this analogy he uses that I can never get out of my mind of, the system's really set up to be a game of tug of war. And, the rope's really not supposed to move that far.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got a tug of war game going on, except somebody's coming in and, throwing some boulders on one side unfairly and moving the rope.
And it's whipping back and forth at a pace we've never seen in the history of the country. You look at just the control of Congress, how many times that has switched in the last couple of decades. Never have seen anything like that in the history of the country.
Hey, quick question. While we have a couple of minutes here, I did want to ask about what is going on in St. Charles with the county council.
Yeah.
And how there was a tie after
City Council.
Oh, sorry. St. Charles City Council. Sorry. Thank you. And they're going to pull names out of the hat to determine the council member
on April 21st.
Cool. We should have a watch party. We are pretty excited about it.
Will this be televised?
Could you guys go be live on scene?
I mean, I kind of want to be. And we had a lot of fun with it, but we also had, understandably, some upset callers and texters who said this is not democracy. If it says in the charter that you pay $30,000 to have another, a runoff or a recount, whatever you need to do, then by golly, do it, because pulling names out of a hat is not democracy. Gentlemen, what say you?
Well, did the two candidates agree to this?
They did.
Yeah.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, if the candidates are both cool with drawing a name out of a hat, then why should we go spend $30,000?
And I don't like the idea that
I love it.
It's going to be drawn out of a hat. But I know Bill Otto in particular in that race, good dude. I'm sure the other person that was running against him is a good person as well. And if they agreed to it, well, they're the two that matter, and that's fine. But generally, I wouldn't like the concept. And if they disagreed with it and the city of St. Charles was imposing picking a name, I'd have
It'd be interesting to have one cycle where every election is just picked out of a hat. No voters.
It can't be worse, right? Ranj,
I don't want to risk it in this upcoming election.
Ranj wanted a duel because he thought that the hat made the hat pick kind of trivialized the job. So he said, what about a duel? And I said, that probably makes it a little too important, like a duel to the death.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that.
Well, she wanted to do a sword fight.
Well, if you were going to do a duel, swords over...
I could be wrong about this, but I think state statute allows for in a tie
a duel.
Picking the name out of a hat.
Yeah, no, that's why they're doing this.
Yeah,
it's an opaque jar.
It is. Yes, and Tracy McCreary is like, no, it's not a hat. It's a small opaque jar.
That's right.
Thank you.
So
that's right, Tracy.
It's a huge distinction.
John, let me ask you, speaking of duels, was there not a really famous duel that took place right here in either Alton or in St. Louis?
I don't know.
From back in the day? Okay. Sorry.
You know what, though? While they pick the name out of the small opaque jar, they need to play the song Duel of the Fates from Star Wars when Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting.
Yes.
We're going to get that. They should play that.
Are they just having each name in the jar once?
That was my question.
Or are they putting each name in the jar?
Like 50 times. Yes.
And then just...
I guess it depends on how small the jar is.
I think you should not draw once. There should be like
2 out of 3
3 polls. Yeah.
But don't you think
it's got to be 2 out of 3?
You know how it's hard to shake up like 2 pieces of paper.
Right.
You need multiple.
I would think.
Now, Ranj suggested, why not use the dice from the sheriff?
Oh.
Well, nobody can find Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's golden dice.
Or Sheriff Alfred
We don't know what happened to him. But I think that'd be a fine way to do it.
Isn't he in the Gray Bar Motel?
Where is that guy?
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, I'm working to get him out so that we can begin the campaign.
By the way, who does mediate or who does actually pull the name?
Oh, it's the
county clerk. Kurt Barr.
I don't know that I want to be Kurt.
I thought that was the election guy. I thought Kurt Barr was the election guy.
It's a woman. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not Kevin Killeen, is it? Because he
not
would
Kevin.
love
I
it.
don't trust him. You trust Kevin Killeen to pull the name out of a jar?
He would make one of the pieces of paper tacky.
Yeah, so you know which one to get.
Stick to your finger.
Hancock and Kelley with us on this beautiful Friday here in St. Louis. Man, we're glad you're with us. 314-436-7900. And as Tracy did, you can comment on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter if you are watching the show live. This is the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Hi, this is Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, certified financial planner, and the host of the Jill on Money podcast. With the new year upon us, there's no better time to take control of your financial life. And the Jill on Money podcast is here to help. It's your questions that make it possible for me to provide unconventional and, I hope, entertaining insights on your money, and more importantly, on your life. Follow and listen to Jill on Money wherever you get your podcasts.
I've been burned before. I was just repeating the same patterns. It turns out I had a type.
Workplaces everywhere are looking for love. And by love, we mean the easy way to order food at work. Easy Cater.
I thought ordering from great restaurants at work had to be complicated, but then I met Easy Cater. So many options, so flexible, and when I ordered for 50 gluten-free vegans without going over budget, I knew I'd found the platform I wanted to do life and lunch with.
Fall in love with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
I'm Altima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
A century strong. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
Can you imagine the excitement and tension? Oh, it's gone. Of the St. Charles City Council pulling the names out of the small opaque jar to Duel of the Fates by John Williams.
Wow.
I mean, I'm getting excited already. When is this happening? April 21st?
That would be Tuesday, right?
Yes.
April 21st
Yeah, it
is
would
Tuesday?
be a Tuesday because elections are on Tuesday, and this is
How small?
essentially an election.
How small is the jar?
Oh, I just can't see through it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And
It's opaque.
It's opaque.
I want to know how many.
Can we get the jar sponsored? Can
oh
we get?
my gosh,
can
that's
we
a
get-
great idea. St. Charles, don't leave this on the table. You could get this sponsored.
Sponsored by the Missouri Lottery.
Why can't the station sponsor it?
Why can't they do it lottery
Why
style?
wouldn't it be like a blinds company that, you block out the sun, block out the view, windows and shades type thing?
Yeah. Love it. It's gonna be fun.
You put the four of
And
us together in one good idea.
We'll have a winner. We will
Do you
have
think-
a winner.
Do you think somehow it's illegal for a corporate sponsor for a Democratic event?
Not in today's world. Have you seen the ballroom we're building?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Well,
Because so Sam Page is currently in London. Hello, Governor.
Oh, he is.
He is. Or he's on the way to London.
Okay.
Yes. And he, man, does not trust Rita Herd Days.
Apparently not.
He would rather waste taxpayer money suing the county council or whoever he's suing because the charter says that Rita Herd Days, the chair, would be county executive in his stead for 5 or 6 days. He said that she assured him it's not that big of a deal, but right before he left, all of a sudden something happened to make him suspicious of Rita Herd Days. Ranj, what do you think Rita Herd Days should do while Sam Page is gone?
Well, first of all, he has won that restraining order.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so he did win the restraining order, so he maintains power.
That's why he's flying to London.
Yeah.
But I do believe that she should have torn down half the building and put up a ballroom in 5
great?
days.
And then
You
we
know
were
what, I
going to
think
say,
they do
hey,
it
big
like-
pictures of her
it's-
face all over.
It is possible. Did you ever see the show Extreme Makeover Home Edition?
Yes.
They'd build a house in like 3 days.
Yeah.
You're right.
They'd tear down
Jimmy
a house.
Carter used to build a house in a day.
Why don't we
then
get
what the
Jimmy
hell?
Carter
Let's
to
do
build
that.
a
But this
ballroom?
place is full of asbestos, so she's got even more reason to tear it down.
Well, that's gonna take longer now.
That it does take longer because they have to contain the asbestos whenever
They didn't do that with the East Wing.
That's exactly right.
at the White House.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we.
It was
just think
full of
about that.
asbestos.
Is there going to be a commercial in like 2 years? Like, did you build the ballroom? Call this number.
Did you
might
tear down
have
the East Wing.
Yeah, you might have mesothelioma. Like, seriously,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
that's a bad thing that he did that. I mean,
Well, get in line.
get in line, yeah. But I mean, the asbestos is a big thing, is a big deal, and it's expensive.
It's not good. Asbestos is not good.
No, you don't want to have
Even
asbestos.
the word is just nasty.
I think
Asbestos.
it's supposed to feel that way.
Somebody obviously thought that was a good idea back in the day.
Well, it was state of the art,
Let's,
right? In the
let's
60s,
throw a bunch of
50s.
Wasn't
asbestos in this thing.
asbestos that was the snow in the Wizard of Oz
Could well
when
have been.
they're
Could well have
at
been.
the towards the end or something when they're walking through the
I
poppy
had not heard
fields?
this.
I think it was just pure asbestos. So I'm going to start a segment called Almost True with Amy.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I heard this once.
I am like truth adjacent. And
it
I
is
think it's almost true, but I am pretty sure. And I know our know-it-all listeners at 314-436-7900, they're the worst. They're a bunch of know-it-alls. They'll confirm that it was asbestos in the Wizard of Oz.
I'll tell you what about the Wizard of Oz. Buddy Epson.
Yeah.
You remember Buddy Epson?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Was it
Beverly
the,
Hillbillies.
Jed Clampett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was originally cast to be.
he wasn't one of the elves.
The Tin Man.
I know what happened.
What?
He got covered in
Yes.
toxic tin
Yes.
and he had to be hospitalized because the stuff they covered him, he was like suffocating.
Darn near killed him.
Yep.
Oh, did
Is
not hear
that
that.
right?
So yeah, so he was. He didn't play that. He didn't play the part of the Tin
There's so
Man.
much lore that has come out of that particular movie,
Great
right?
movie, yeah.
Yes,
So-
here we go. In the 1939 film The Wizard of Oz, they used 100% industrial grade asbestos to create the fake snow in the poppy fields.
Wow.
Dude, 100%
awesome.
asbestos.
Ugh.
That's
So-
terrible.
Before we hit the break here, for
Yes.
real though, like if you're the county executive, what do you really think is going to happen over a 5-day period?
Yeah,
that you can't trust.
He's got issues. Yeah, as it relates
Or
to
did-
relating to people.
Was there some sort of secret plan that he found out about?
I doubt it.
Were they going to do something and he got wind of it?
I don't know. My bigger problem is the fact that less than 2 weeks ago, he had a press conference telling us, look, I'm not running for re-election. I'm going to focus on this county because it's in financial trouble. He decided that he was going to cancel the 4th of July, the JB blast. He's closing pools. He's saying the situation is so desperate in St. Louis County, we've got to take these extreme measures, that he has time to go on a junket to London.
After filing a lawsuit.
Right. And then you're going to spend and by the way, it will come out. We'll see that they spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on outside law firms to go do this. And I just think the man's a hypocrite. I've been supportive of Sam in the past, but right now I'm ready for this Sam Page saga to end. And I don't think he's consistent with his messaging, and I think he's showing that it's all about Sam Page.
Although he's landing in England precisely when the World Championships of snooker are starting. And he could get on that train. It's an hour and 45 minutes to Sheffield, Crucible Theater. Ronnie O'Sullivan is playing his first match on Tuesday. It's going to be great.
Would you have forgiven all if he had invited you to the snooker match?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Hancock and Kelley.
Easy to buy.
It's a magical place. It's a magical place.
Everybody's got a price, and some prices are lower than others.
Yes.
You want to go watch some guys play pool?
Pool. Hey, I just thought of something. What if after this jar pull, there's still a tie?
Because they pulled 2 names.
Yeah, like, oh.
We shouldn't have pulled 2.
What if she accidentally pulls out 2 names? And it's...
I think then you have to assume they're supposed to serve together.
Huh. Split the salary.
Flip a coin.
Hancock and Kelley with us on the Chris and Amy show. It's 104.1 FM KMOX.
In 2026, I've been hearing from customers and friends that their utility bills went up quite a bit for their electric bill. That being said, and you're looking at buying a new air conditioner, or you're thinking, hey, I guess let's just get an air conditioner so it helps with the electric bills. If you have an old system, it definitely can help you. But watch your thinking. Just because you are told this is a so-called high-efficient air conditioner, it's not going to save you nowhere near what you think it's going to save you. Just replacing your old equipment is the biggest thing, and make your house efficient. An air conditioner is not going to make your house efficient. That being said, it's a great time to purchase an air conditioner if you get the correct one. Don't overspend. Don't believe the hype. In other words, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Call me, Bart Inman, at 314, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. God bless.
Turning 50 doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter about your health. That's why we created Neovitin Men's 50 Plus Multivitamin. It's doctor formulated to support your energy, immune health, and overall vitality. Plus, it's made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Take control of your health with supplements you can trust. Look for Neovitin Men's 50 Plus at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, or online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, made for men who keep moving forward.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
69 degrees and sunny, very warm. Lots of sun this morning, then turning cloudy, breezy this afternoon. Could be a thunderstorm this afternoon into tonight, a high of 85. Tonight, the storms could be severe, so watch out for that. A low of 51. Spring is here. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, they're springing forward with the longest price guarantees ever on their gig speed internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
We listened. On Friday, April 24th, the Cardinals take on the Seattle Mariners, and Busch Stadium is going dark. That night, you will receive the all-new Cardinals jersey, Dark Mode, presented by Phillips 66. This fan-selected look was brought to life for the ballpark and designed to stand out in the stands. A limited giveaway you can only get at the game. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Victor Scott II. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good conversation and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
Today, the Cards, the Astros.
Cameron Total Access 615. First pitch 7:10.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
My friend, it seems your eyes are troubled, care to share.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. We got John Hancock and Michael Kelley with us today. What a great day it is.
It's a beautiful day out
here in the Lou. And
Azure sky out there.
You know what, guys? It seems, according to what I've been reading, it seems like a great day to eliminate state sales or state income tax. And we had a Senate vote last night. It wasn't a complete party line vote, though I think all Democrats voted against it. A few Republicans also voted against it. However, it did pass. House has to do it. Then it could be on the ballot this year.
Yep.
So I know that you guys are both have opposing viewpoints of this. I wonder, my concern is how it's going to end up affecting people who make less, people who are in the middle class, because, I mean, let's be honest, it will not affect those who make a ton of money very much. What I mean is, if the sales tax in the state goes up to make up for what we're not getting in income tax, then it will be the poor people who end up paying for it the most.
Go ahead, John.
Well, I mean, I've seen the models that I've seen run that if you're a household of $40,000 in income, okay, you come out ahead on it versus what you pay
Whose
in
models
sales
are these?
tax, tax institute. So if you're at $40,000 or more of household income, you come out ahead paying no state income tax, and everybody pays state income tax.
Some 60% of the state's budget comes from the state income tax. We all pay it. It gets taken out of our checks while we work. Yes, nobody likes to pay taxes, but you don't feel it. If they do away with the state income tax, they have to make that $9 billion or whatever it is.
That's about right.
Of money up elsewhere. What they will ultimately do is raise taxes on everything and start taxing things that have never been taxed before. Services, getting your hair cut, having your house clean, cutting your lawn, all of that kind of stuff gets taxed suddenly. And, you know, this idea that this is going to benefit the folks at the bottom because you get to make your decisions. No, Ozzie Smith and a working person still buy the same amount of toilet paper, except that toilet paper costs more. And that hurts the people at the bottom the most. And on top of it all, services to people at the bottom go up as well. Or costs go up as well. And people can couch this however they want. But the idea that this is going to be a windfall for people at the bottom is just a crock.
Well,
it will all be for the benefit of those at the top. And the other argument they like to use For 2 decades, the Republicans have been running around saying, we're going to cut the capital gains tax. They've done it. They're going to cut this tax. They've done it. They're going to cut back the state income tax. They've done it. Their arguments was, this is going to bring commerce and people to the state of Missouri. I ask you right now, has the population grown in Missouri? No. Now, they're saying if we do this, suddenly people are going to flood out of New York and Illinois to move to Missouri.
Nobody's saying that.
Because, yes, they're saying that this is going to
Illinois, yes.
new
Illinois,
people to the
yes.
state of Missouri. And if you're a rich person who is chasing cheap taxes, it's proven already. You're not coming to Missouri. You're going to Florida. You're going to Texas. You're going to Arizona. People are chasing sunshine and low taxes.
Shall we?
And we're going to do this on the backs of those who work.
Shall we take a look at empirical data? Because I always like empirical data. It's my favorite kind of data, empirical.
Mm-hmm.
There are 11 states in this country that have no income tax. 11. Of the top 20 fastest growing economies of states in America, all 11 of those states are in the top 20. And there is a benefit to not having a state income tax. Amy, you're a hockey fan.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Matthew Tkachuk?
Yeah, he's still around.
He wanted to go to Florida, and one of the reasons he wanted to go to Florida, you know what it was?
No income tax.
Yes.
So, but here's the thing. And so in some ways I agree with both John and Michael in the sense that if you make over $40,000, it will benefit you because if all the taxes were to stay the same, what you're going to pay in sales tax and so forth with your spending habits will not be more than your saving from your income tax. I understand that. So in that sense, like, yes, I agree with John. On the other side of thing, if you look at those other states that don't have income tax, Alaska, Florida, Nevada, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, Wyoming, they have something that Missouri doesn't have, and that is massive, outstanding tourism or
natural resources.
Whether you're talking about Alaska or like Florida, they have Disney World, they have the beaches. Nevada has Las Vegas, of course, Nashville, Tennessee, Washington, Wyoming. I mean, people flock to those states for vacation, massive tourism industries, or to move to because they want to live in the mountains or they want to live on the beach. And Missouri is not sexy. Missouri is very, very unsexy, like Kansas, which got rid of its income tax and then reinstituted it because it was a disaster. So that's my fear, is that Missouri could get rid of the income tax if we had beaches and Disney World.
Well, tourism is our second largest industry.
But it doesn't mean it's big enough.
Well, I mean, the other thing is that tourism, you're going to have a lot of non-residents paying that sales tax, non-Missourians paying that sales tax.
But you're also going to have people paying sales tax on things they've never paid before.
Yeah.
And businesses that have never been taxed before are suddenly, ultimately, this is going to be a tax on everything. They're calling this an income tax. No, they're going to start taxing everything unless you're well connected. Because listen to this, guys. They've exempted lobbyists and lawyers from having to be able to pay sales tax.
Well,
special interests are going to be a part of who gets exempted.
And maybe, but the actual details of this thing have not been introduced yet. And so we're going to have a vote of the people. Do you want to get rid of the income tax or do you want to keep the income tax? If the people vote that they want to get rid of the income tax, then the legislature devises the plan. And unlike Kansas, where they just they eliminate the income tax, ours will be phased out. And as economic conditions allow, it's a very prudent way of doing this. And, is this going to be a panacea and make boomtown? No.
And why is the governor moving heaven and earth to make it happen?
Is it going to make Missouri more attractive, a more attractive place to do commerce? And what we do have here, we don't have beaches, but we do have a very reasonable cost of living.
Got a big lake.
Well, and the costs are going to go up. But John, you talked about it's going to bring opportunity. For 2 decades, you all have been cutting taxes, saying it's going to grow population. The heck you haven't, John. I've been watching your elections you guys run on every week.
It's been less than one decade.
Every year you're out there saying that you guys have cut taxes and this is going to grow industries. Where is it?
It's been less than one decade.
Where is it? Where is the population? Where is the population?
We still have an income tax.
This is nothing more than a shift of cost from the wealthiest Missourians to the poorest Missourians. It's as simple as that. And by the way, the voters are seeing this. This thing's polling at 38%.
I've seen it.
This is this red, blood red state. And this isn't like walking through the door, easy to get done.
I guess what polling at 38%, you're probably looking at Democrat primary voters, right? I mean, that's the polls you're looking at.
I'm looking at the polls that just came out on Fox News the other day here in St. Louis. We're going to talk about it on our show this week.
What confuses me, and I wonder this, Missouri already has a lower than average tax burden compared to other states, and it's not that far off of what Texas is. So why the need to do this?
Well, taxing income is a disincentive to job creation. I mean, I think it's pretty much that simple. And if you look at the states that don't have an income tax, they're very popular.
Listen, in Missouri, in St. Louis Pacific, has a disproportionate amount of billionaires compared to most other cities. I mean, other states. I mean, if you look at some of the wealthiest Americans and compare it to all of the states in the Midwest, including Illinois, Missouri has a larger group of those people. I'm sorry. That's what this is all about, is helping those at the top the most at the expense of those who work for a living.
I don't think so.
Because
most wealthy people, I mean, at that level, their income, their revenue is from capital gains. They're not out there drawing a salary.
One of the
and
arguments the governor is making is if we cut this, these people are going to flood in here from New York. You're contradicting your own argument.
Well, you just said the billionaires all moved here. So
no, the billionaires were already here.
They were already here.
There's old money. A lot of old money in this.
We do have a lot of money in St. Louis.
It's old money.
St. Louis does have a lot of money.
A friend of mine moved from Manhattan, and he was driving around town, you might say, Town and Country, Ladue, Litzinger, all these places, and he's from New York.
Yeah.
And he said, where do all these people get all this money?
Yeah.
I go, I don't know. St. Louis has a lot of money.
St. Louis has a lot of money, and it's also a very generous community.
Very generous.
Philanthropy in St. Louis is disproportionate to most other cities.
Well, they're going to have more money to give away here soon.
Let's see if they do.
Working people are out
Let's see if they do.
more for toilet paper.
I think you're unnecessarily.
Selma has come up twice.
And it's not that I'm against. I'm for doing away with the earnings tax in the city of St. Louis. Why? Because it's a percentage of income that gets paid. This disproportionately helps the people at the top and hurts those at the bottom the most.
People
because
at the top
costs on everyday items go up.
They spend more
Nothing
money.
changes if you do away with.
Well, it's really going to hurt people who
tax.
don't. There are people who are in poorer conditions who don't pay income tax.
Yes, and
that's going to hurt them a lot.
I hope and expect that when they put the details of this thing together, they will make an accommodation for the folks at the very bottom.
We're going to do away with 60% of the revenue in the state of Missouri, and we don't have a plan on how we're going to replace it yet. You keep saying we got to wait for them to put together the plan.
That's the way the thing was structured. You're going to first see if the public wants to do away with the income tax.
That's
if
the
they
most
do,
ignorant concept I've ever heard of.
That's how they're doing it.
Well, because I will say this with the rich people, because I think some people are like, oh, rich people. But okay, what does that even mean? If you're talking about billionaires, that's totally different than people who have 10, 20, 50 million, which is a ton of money, but those people are paying a ton of taxes.
Yep.
You're paid, it's the Elon Musk's, but that is such a rarefied stratosphere that is not what we're talking about. When you look at the people, like I said, who have the money, who are living in the Ladue and Town and Country, they are paying the brunt of the taxes. They make a ton of money, but they pay a ton. Those people are not skirting the system. And I think sometimes that gets lumped in like, oh, you live in Town and Country, you don't get it. That guy is paying a ton of money. And so this isn't necessarily relevant to the eliminating income tax, other than to say that if you're talking about rich people and it benefiting them, well, yes, it's always going to benefit the person who is paying the most in taxes if you eliminate that tax. But my big concern is, because like I said, I'm all about business. We want rich people in Missouri. We want them to start buying buildings downtown and buying sports teams. I want all the rich people in Missouri we can possibly get. At the same time, because we're not Florida, or not Wyoming. I am very concerned about the giant hole in the budget we're creating, and I don't know how that gets rectified because we don't have Disney World and the beaches and the mountains.
We're just going to make you pay more for toilet paper.
It gets rectified. And why are you so hung up on toilet paper?
Because it's something we all have to purchase.
You need to take a break?
Yeah, no, it's something we all have to purchase, and the cost goes up for those at the bottom the same way it goes up for those at the top. Ozzie Smith, John Hancock, they can afford an increase in toilet paper. Somebody who's paying $5 a gallon for gasoline,
I expect,
sees that price go up, John. They're shouldering the burden for people who weren't even feeling the impact of the state income tax.
I would assume and expect that they will make an accommodation for people that would be net losers under this plan. And I don't know how they're going to do that, but I would assume that would be the case.
Guess we'll see.
Yeah, we will.
Hancock and
Just
Kelley
jump
with
off
us.
and hope that the water's deep enough, everybody. I mean,
I'm sure
that's
it'll be
the
fun.
argument that we just heard. Hopefully they're going to figure this out. Hopefully they're going to have a plan.
Well, they're going to have to figure it out.
What in the world are we doing?
And there are probably
We're not able to pave the roads, police this place already, but let's just take away all the money and hope it works out.
We're eliminating the income tax.
And we're pretty confident there are no sharks in that water.
Have you been to the Lake of the Ozarks?
There's sharks.
E.
Who knows what's
coli,
in that
E.
water?
coli, dead bodies. Who knows what's in there?
Poo.
Ew,
Chris and Amy on KMOX. Oh, and oh yeah. So let's go straight from poo to this. Did you know that the NBA playoffs, they are happening right now? And this is a great way to get involved with FanDuel if you have not done it yet and you're looking for something fun to do. Well, how about this, folks? Because Play-In Palooza is going on right now, and it's your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets every day of the Play-In tournament. All you have to do is place a live bet using your Play-In Palooza token. Then you're going to automatically be entered for a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. So don't just watch the NBA Play-In tournament from the side. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Get started there. And don't forget, enter FanDuel's Play-In Palooza for a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Limit one entry. Profit boost bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost token. Prize is issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. One day, you're under a thunderstorm warning. The next,
Oh boy, it's snowing.
stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. Sponsored by
Saliga Heating and Cooling.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
Curative, that's a complex decision that involves what we call multidisciplinary care. So that involves a surgeon, a medical oncologist, radiation oncologist. So you need the expertise, and that's something that we have here at Siteman, especially geared for these esophageal cancer patients.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. Visit siteman.washu.edu.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Come celebrate our Customer Appreciation Days, April 24th and 25th, and save up to 10 to 20% on trees, shrubs, annuals, tropicals, perennials, houseplants, and more. KMOX will be live on Saturday. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com for more details.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Laderman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Every spring, families consider moving, and this year I encourage you not to wait. The McKelvey Homes Spring Event is one of the best offers we've had in years, with rates as low as 4.75% financing and savings up to $124,000 on move-in ready homes. The event ends May 31st. Secure your savings and schedule your personal tour today at McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Hip, hip. Hip, hip.
Chris and Amy on KMOX. How we doing? Ready for a good Friday? You guys going to go do some snooking or whatever it is you do?
My guy's
I'm playing
ditching
golf
me.
today.
He's playing golf.
Playing a little golf?
I'm going over to Illinois, the best public course in St. Louis, Ann Briar. Cha-ching, little plug. I'm going there this afternoon, and then I'm meeting up with my friend Amy later tonight. We're going to see Dave Glover
in concert
at the Del Mar Hall.
Yeah.
He's singing the Beatles tonight, and Amy and I and a group of people
are also singing.
No, we're just going to be there having a cocktail and waving at him so that he knows that we were there.
I am going to text. I'm going to text the Lion of India and the Ukrainian Thunder and see if they're interested in a snooker match this afternoon.
Don't you think you should have lined this up, or do you think they're just going to be ready to go?
He had assumed I was going to be able to play with them today.
Right. I didn't know he was going
to
some fancy golf course for the afternoon.
It's not very kind of him to just spring this on you like this.
I think it's Milton. No, what is the name of the town that I'm way in southern Illinois? I can't wait to go. Ann Briar. It's a great place.
The Millstadt?
No,
I don't know.
It's not Millstadt. It's not far from there, though. I don't think.
I don't know.
Columbia or something. No,
hey,
maybe it's.
You mentioned the Ukrainian
Thunder.
Yes. So I was driving down Highway 40 towards the Arch. I was at 40 just before 14th Street, and I see this van, and it says the Ark Singers. They are a Donetsk, Ukraine missionary musical group.
Wow.
Their van was marked, so I guess they brought their van over here, and they were driving east on 40, and I look up at this van, and through the window, I can see everyone is holding their phones up, filming the Arch as they drive by.
Oh, that's cool.
So I don't know where they were going, but they were filming the Arch.
This is not picking on St. Louis, but if you left a war-torn country to go to the Holy Grail of the United States, wouldn't you be in Vegas or, San Francisco, one of the iconic places? What brings you to the middle of the country?
Well, they're missionaries.
They must have been like my relatives who, I guess at one time were probably headed out to California and got here and were like, they make beer. Let's stick around.
Have you seen the memes where they show like a California beach, or they show the beautiful Tetons in Wyoming, and it says, my ancestors saw this and decided to settle in the Midwest?
Because the weather is fabulous.
Well, it's, the river commerce. That's what it was all about.
It was the river boats.
That's
the way of the future.
Yes.
St. Louis believed.
Come on.
Well, they didn't have the river boats when they settled.
No.
They didn't exist yet. It was the 1700s.
No, but the French fur traders used the river.
I think you're talking about the steamboats.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
none of us will be around for it. And none of our grandkids will be around for it. And our grandkids won't be around for it.
We don't have kids, Michael.
This is the place to live. We're going to be on fresh water. And if you think about what's happening throughout this country, being on the world's largest river, it's going to be, it's going to be the place to be.
Of course, nobody's coming here.
Well, not now.
I will wait till they run out of water.
No, they'll just come to take our water.
The sales taxes and run everybody out of here. It'll be pristine land for people to take care of.
They'll just come take our water away from us.
We have 7,000 texts from Michael that says Ann Breyer is in Waterloo.
Waterloo, Illinois. That's what it is. It's awesome. Go over there. Great place to get a bite to eat, too, even if you're not golfing.
Do you know what? There are some really beautiful Airbnbs in Waterloo. If you do like a staycation, I'm not even joking. If you do a staycation, there's like people have properties, they have lakes. Some of the cutest Airbnbs you've ever seen are all in Waterloo.
I often staycation in Waterloo.
I'm saying I would. If you want to have a coffee,
I know. I got
on
friends
a lake,
that live there.
Open a restaurant. Call it Napoleon's.
No.
All right.
He's already got
all right, that's
Chris's-
enough.
Hey,
That's enough.
Actually,
We're done now.
Napoleon's, otherwise known as the Loser Lounge. Ranj is opening a Loser Lounge.
That's right.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
a place for losers only.
Remember how the president likes to hang
What
out with
inspired
losers?
this?
The president.
Because he said he likes to surround himself with losers so he looks better.
Wow.
And he doesn't have to hear about other people's successes.
So the picture of the Pope will be up. And some of
for
the
him.
greatest humans of
No,
all time will be
Ranj likes hanging out with losers because he said it makes him feel better about himself.
It does make my candle burn brighter.
There it is.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley, the Chris and Amy Show continues after this on KMOX.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. Shop Wayfair's Way Day from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. And for a limited time this April, we're offering something we rarely do. Exclusive incentives designed to help you get more from your new home. From a free finished recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades to flexible perks like design credits or closing cost savings, there's an opportunity waiting for you. But these offers are available in select communities and only for a short time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 10 o'clock, sunshine, 73 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Stocks rose quickly this morning with news that the Strait of Hormuz is open for now. Also, oil dropping about 10%. There's no guarantee, though, that the conflicts are over for good. We get more from CBS's Lana Zach talking gas prices.
These problems are likely going to continue, analysts say, until 2027. That'll be the first time that we actually see those gas prices get back to around $3 a gallon if everything goes perfectly.
Airlines paying more for fuel that it takes to fly because of Trump's war with Iran, but it's not just the cost of jet fuel that's the issue. It's also jet fuel availability and what it could mean for your travel plans. Your CBS News transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
Airline industry analyst Henry Hartevelt says while the U.S. produces most of its jet fuel, travelers planning to go to Europe could face potential disruptions.
there may be some routes where the airline says, you know what, it's just too risky to send a plane over to Europe. If there's not enough jet fuel at your originating airport, your flight may have to make an intermediate stop to get more fuel along the way. That means a longer trip home.
The Missouri governor's push to eliminate the state income tax means other taxes would have to go up. And in a late night session in Jefferson City this week, Senate Republicans pushed through a new plan that would allow expanded sales taxes that could be placed on any goods and any services. Assuming legislation is approved in a final House vote, Missouri voters will be asked in November whether to eliminate the state income tax, which makes up about 2/3 of state revenue. It would be shifted to sales taxes. Critics say this tax shift will be a benefit to the wealthy while shifting the burden to working class and poor Missourians. From the KMOX business desk, the city of Ferguson considering a $1.5 million tax break for a data center development at the vacant 217-acre Emerson campus. Developers at this week's city council meeting said investments in the project could reach upwards of $22 billion, and making the project the largest data center development in the region. The city council is expected to vote on the issue at the April 21st meeting, with a possible final vote taking place at a meeting 2 days later. The weather is sponsored by the Missouri History Museum's Route 66 Centennial Festival, April 30th through May 3rd.
Sunshine and some clouds this afternoon, breezy and very warm. There can be a thunderstorm in spots east of the city, high 85. It'll be breezy early tonight with some heavy thunderstorms. There's a significant risk for destructive winds, hail, flash flooding, and even a tornado in any thunderstorm. And some rain and much cooler late tonight, though 50. Tomorrow, a couple of showers early, otherwise windy and quite cool as clouds give way to sunshine, the high just 59. From the Salige Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it is sunny and 73 degrees. Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, kids' crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Hour 2 of 3, 12 o'clock. We've got the Gas House Gang coming up, and that will be Mike Claiborne, Matt Pauley, and me, Chris Ranji. We will have with us Andre Palante, who is a Cardinals pitcher. He's a starter. And he is pitching this weekend.
Caught our first
did.
pitches when we threw the first pitch out together.
That is exactly
One
right.
ball. We did that together.
Was it 2 years ago? A couple of years ago, we threw out the first pitch, and he's the one who caught.
And Ron, you are mean to me all the time, but I threw it from the mound, and I did, and it was high, but
Nice.
it was down the middle.
Nice.
Yeah. You also threw a nice pitch. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't want you to embarrass yourself. You actually looked like you knew what you're doing.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Do you?
Hey, do the Blues know what they're doing now? The regular season's over. Their season is over. There is no playoffs for the Blues. They are done after last night, and they finished the season with a Robert Thomas hat trick. So that's
his second in 11 games. Second hat trick for Robert Thomas in 11 days, I should say, sorry. But also the second in his career. He had never had a hat trick, and then boom, boom, knocked him off at the end of the season.
So, where is this team, Amy?
Yeah.
What is it? What are the Blues, and what is their near future?
What are the Blues? The Blues are youth, and I will say that I am very excited about Snuggerud, Dvorsky, Philip Broberg on defense was a great signing. Love what we're seeing from Dylan Holloway. Robert Thomas has absolutely come to life after that operation, after the procedure. He was not healthy for most of the season. During the Olympic break, he had a procedure, and he's like a new man since then. So I do hope the Blues hang on to Robert Thomas. I think they will. I think he'll be their next captain, to be honest. I've heard several people project whether or not they think Jordan Binnington is going to be on this team come next season. I think he will be. I'm not an insider. I get to some of the practices, but obviously I'm here, so I'm not a Jeremy Rutherford or a Matt DeFranks. Jeremy Rutherford said, I believe, if I understood him correctly, he thinks there's a good chance Jordan Binnington is not with the Blues come next season. Here's what I know. Next season, the terms of the new collective bargaining agreement go into effect. which means the regular season expands from 82 to 84 games. This season, especially because of the Olympic break, we saw goaltending tandems in a way that is very different than the past. You're never going to have a Grant Fuhr start 80 games again. You need 2 strong goaltenders. You absolutely have to. Going into the playoffs now, and I'm not going to get into the weeds, but there are 9 of the 16 teams that easily have 2 goaltenders who maybe you're not even sure who will start. Like Colorado, I don't know which goalie is going to start for Colorado. And they're the number 1 team in the league. So that's a bit unusual. Why do I bring that up? The Blues traded Colton Ellis, who was their number 3 goaltender at the beginning of the season, to the Buffalo Sabres. Jordan Binnington was, I think you would call the backup. I like to call it a number 2 goalie now, because your number 2 goalie next season is going to play 30 to 40 games. That's not a backup number of games, right? That's a significant chunk. So you have to have a goaltender you believe in. Do I think Jordan Binnington would be willing to be the number 2 behind Joel Hofer, who I think pretty clearly established himself as the number 1? I actually do. I think Jordan Binnington loves St. Louis. He loves this franchise. He's a team player. It's what Jake Allen did when Jordan Binnington took over. Now, granted, Jake Allen was then traded. But I think Binnington will start with the team. If they do trade Binnington, I think they have to make a move for a number 2 goalie. They need to do that.
Well, it will be a fascinating offseason, and here is another element to it that is, it's just so, of course.
Okay.
And JR, who you mentioned, put out, according to Tankathon is a website that it covers teams that are trying what they do leading into the draft.
Yeah.
Okay. So it puts out all of it, and it does it for multiple sports. So as he notes, the Blues, because there was a draft lottery, they have a 3% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. At the Olympic break, they had the second lowest points percentage in the league, which would have given them the second best odds at the number 1 pick at 13.5. So by playing well, what they have done is they have, and again, 13.5% is not a great percentage chance, great percentage odds to win the draft pick. But of course, they would hurt themselves the way they did.
Well,
but I mean, they would have gotten a much higher draft pick had they not gone on this tear. And good for them. I mean, I'm glad some of these young guys got the experience, but would have been nice to have a higher pick.
It would have, but I mean, like Joey Vitale has said over and over again, as a player, you're never going to tank on purpose.
Well, players aren't. No.
And players are also playing for their own personal value and contracts. But even more than that, as Colton Parayko said, what he learned from guys like Bobby Plager, putting on the blue note is a source of pride. And you need to play a certain way with the pride of wearing the blue note. Also,
I think that's true of any team that you play for, right?
Well, no, that's my point, because people in every market go, oh, why don't they tank? These athletes are not going to tank. The only way that you tank
do it with roster
is if the coach sits everybody and you play young people. But they're going, the guys like Colton Parayko, Robert Thomas, especially, maybe he'll be traded. Who knows? You're upping your value. You're playing for the franchise. So I bring up Robert Thomas, Dylan Holloway, and Jimmy Snuggerud. And why do I bring them up? Because they have been the best line in the NHL since the trade deadline on March 6th.
Yep.
Now, I looked at the 3 guys, their plus minus and everything. They led the league in plus minus, meaning they were all minuses before the break. Then they get this line together and suddenly they're on the ice for more goals and off the ice for goals against. And just to quantify this, of all the lines that have played at least 250 minutes together 5-on-5, the Holloway Thomas Snuggerud is the best line all year. No line in hockey, not Kucherov lines in Tampa Bay, not the McKinnon line in Colorado, not even the McDavid line. No line was as effective as the Holloway Thomas Snuggerud line was. It's been a long time since the Blues have had a line like that.
This message from Luke, who is watching the show on Facebook, says, I think the Blues should just show up to the playoffs and say, no, I think we're in, and force their way into playing. I think you can convince the league to allow that to happen.
That sounds like something Ranji would do.
No, I belong. Act like you belong there.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? What would one of these arenas do if the Blues show up in a bus and they get off the bus like they've got a game that night?
Well, the security is going to believe him for sure. Because if I'm security, you may think like, this is the team. And you would question yourself so much. You don't want to be the security guy that stopped the team from getting in.
I would.
That you would let them through.
Why has nobody tried it? I know it's expensive to get an entire team on a flight and then give them accommodations and then put them on a bus. But I am all for giving this a try. I want one team to just try it out and see what happens.
Real quick, too, I said the Blues traded Colton Ellis. We lost him on waivers.
I don't think anybody's worried about it.
We had that. No, but just for my own sanity. Hey, completely changing topics, if I may. You know how we've talked a lot about AI over the course of, a year or so. And there's also, we know that there have been sketchy research papers, that have been published and how those kind of take off. In fact, whether it's sketchy because of like the whole autism vaccine thing, or it's sketchy because the sugar industry like lobbied and had these papers come out that downplayed the risks of sugar. And that's even NPR reporting. Like we know Big Sugar did that, right? So what happens when you combine AI and something that claims to be a research paper? Well, there was a medical researcher at the University of Gothenburg who knows that large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, they're aggregators, and they'll include data from anything from books to Reddit posts to song lyrics to supposedly reputable medical journals. Now, we also know that hundreds of millions of people log into AI all the time and say, hey, what are these symptoms, right? It's like going to WebMD, but instead you're doing it with AI. So this woman thought, I wonder how trustworthy these AI models are. So she made up a disease called Bixonomania. Bixonomania?
I actually have that.
Yes. It includes symptoms such as sore, itchy eyes and discolored eyelids.
Oh.
She fabricated an entire research study around the condition and uploaded a preprint of the papers. So a preprint meaning it says this has not been peer reviewed. So she wanted to see what would happen. Now, quick note, if you're like, is that ethical? Well, we're not sure, but what she did do is she made every effort to make it clear that the paper was false, completely false. She collaborated with an ethics consultant, and then she left breadcrumbs in the paper itself. Like she named the study by a guy who does not exist, and his name means the lying loser. I don't know how to say it. It's a Slovenian name, Lazligiv, something like that. And it means the lying loser. She also chose a name of a disease that is ridiculous because no physician diagnoses mania. That's psychiatry. You don't have a disease that's a mania. She also, in the paper, wrote, quote, "This entire paper is made up." And then she also wrote that the 50 participants are completely fictional. And then she said that her esteemed colleague was from the Starfleet Academy on the USS Enterprise. And her other partner was the Professor Slideshow Bob Foundation. So she made it a joke. And guess what? The chatbots started diagnosing people with it. And not only did AI and Claude and Gemini start pulling from this paper saying this is real, you probably have it, but other research papers started citing it, which means that there were researchers and physicians or whoever who weren't reading the whole paper itself, but were using AI to read the paper for them, and then they would cite it, which means both the chatbots and the humans were wrong.
Yeah, the danger with this, well, I think we know what most of the dangers are with artificial intelligence, but one of them is how people decide to trust it. And that could be the greatest danger, because you do have a lot of people out there who think, wow, this is a new technology, therefore it must be great. And because it is a great technology. I'm going to trust whatever it tells me. I was watching this. It was one of those, you're scrolling through Instagram and you see podcast clips. And it was two guys having a debate, and I don't know what they were having a debate about. And I watched it for too long. But it went on it went on for about 90 seconds or a couple of minutes. And one guy in the debate is reading from a Wikipedia entry. Is like, no, here's what happened, blah, 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 blah. And this is from the Wikipedia page. And the guy goes, oh, Wikipedia, that's your source? And then he's like, well, let's look at, and then he starts going through Google results.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, here's what the Gemini or the Chat GPT says. Yeah. What's Chat GPT say? Yeah. So the same guy who was questioning Wikipedia immediately automatically trusted this Chat GPT. Like, give me that result instead. That one's got to be better.
You actually nailed it, because she said the purpose of this paper was not to expose AI, the LLMs, as flawed tools, but to expose how people blindly use them.
Yeah.
Whether it's you and me saying, hey, do I have this disease? Or more concerningly, even researchers who were allowing AI to aggregate information from the internet, and they blindly cited the AI generated references to this paper. They did. These are researchers,
right? It's because people are trusting it.
They're trusting
They're
AI.
trusting that the bot, that the program has concisely gone through everything and then given it to you in a nice little package form.
And that's what she was. The failure wasn't the system; it was how I used it. And I would say the system too, in the sense that you need to know it is not accurate, but that is exactly right. How scary that we will trust. We won't trust Wikipedia, which, I mean, I get it, but you trust AI.
And Wikipedia is not a bad resource. It's not a great. It's
like we weren't allowed to use it for school, and I didn't let my students use it.
You shouldn't, because it's too easy. There's too much there.
It's not terrible to use as a backbone, a jumping off point.
It definitely is not. We will talk to Jen Siess, a broadcaster for City SC, at 10:30. They've got a game tomorrow against Seattle on the road, so we'll talk to her. As Amy mentioned, Ryan Krull with St. Louis Magazine, he will join us at 11 o'clock. We will talk about he has written a couple of pieces on that tent city in Marine Villa. And we were supposed to talk to Lyle Lovett yesterday. Well, that's happening today instead. Lyle Lovett is performing at City Winery coming up in May, and he will join the show at 11:30 on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 35 years, I've seen it all. Car crashes, work injuries, defective products, medical mistakes, lives flipped upside down in an instant. But I've also seen something else, the power of fighting back, the power of winning. Over $30 billion recovered and counting. Size matters, reputation matters, results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Breaking news for your home. Wayday. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. Shop Wayfair's Wayday from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441.
800-939-1441.
Why would life-saving care require a membership? In a real emergency, are you reaching for your wallet or your phone to call 911? And what if the member helicopter isn't the closest one? What if they don't carry blood on board? What if those differences matter? They do. Arch Air Medical Service is proud to serve Effingham and surrounding communities with life-saving air medical care. Our highly trained crews deliver advanced medicine in the air because when seconds count, capability matters more than a card in your wallet. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. Worried about cost? Here's the truth. The No Surprises Act protects patients with private insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You'll only pay your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. If you have Medicare or Medicaid, similar protections apply. Providers cannot bill beyond those limits. That means no air medical membership is needed. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
Saving money is hard, but what's worse is when you save all year, hoping to use that money for a nice vacation, and then your AC unit dies and that money is gone. Now imagine yourself in retirement. You've saved a nice amount, hoping to use it for fun. But every time you take money out of your 401k, you get hammered in taxes. It's a sad fact, but your number one expense in retirement may not be cruises and trips. It could be taxes. At the All Financial Group, we believe in keeping more of your money where it belongs, with you. Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, April 21st and Thursday, April 23rd. You must qualify to attend. Call today to reserve your spot, 636-230-8824, or go online to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may give any tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Beat the spring cleaning rush at Zero Res this week. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and whole system air duct cleaning for just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com to book your appointment. That's ZeroResSTL.com.
100 years of service and still at your service. KMOX.
All right. So at 11, we're chatting with Ryan Krull of St. Louis Magazine. He's done some reporting on the tent city set up by Larry Rice in the Marine Villa neighborhood. If you remember, there were all of these apartments that were condemned and guns and weapons and drugs were confiscated. And so the people, very sadly, were evicted from their apartments. But Larry Rice showed up with all of these tents and with food and with gift cards. So it's now become an attractive nuisance where the other residents of Marine Villa said, oh my gosh, he set up this tent city where now we can look out our window and see weapons and people doing cocaine and all this sort of stuff. And it's a mess. And people are frustrated. And I said, I hate to say it because I think his heart's in the right place. But I think Larry Rice is a bit of a troublemaker. And then it made me...
May not be bad, though.
Made me very sentimental towards the good old days when we didn't have cable or social media and we just had the over-the-air stations, including Channel 24. And I remember being traumatized by these PSA commercials that they would play on Channel 24. So here's a commercial that it's just to remind parents to like hug their kids, but it's like pretty intense.
Mommy, what's for supper? Can't you see that I'm on the phone? Hold it down, I just got home. Isn't it enough that I work all day? At least you get a chance to get away. Dishes, diapers, dirty rags. Bosses, bills, and nag. Shut up, kids, you're in the way. I'm so mad I can slap your face. Did I do something wrong?
Have you hugged your kid today? Did you send them on
It's a real whiplash of a commercial. These parents, they zoom in on their faces. They're yelling at these kids. I'm so mad I could slap your face.
How much Channel 24 did you watch?
A lot.
What the hell, dude?
A
Did you
lot.
not have UHF or VHF? UHF was the side channel, like
No.
the hidden channels.
No, we had 2, 4, 5, 9, 11, 24, and 30.
24 feels like it was a lot of UHF.
And they had all these PSA commercials. They also did, they would do the commercials of This Is Your Brain on Drugs. And they have this commercial too.
I remember that one.
Yeah. Where this lady she has a frying pan and it's like, and has a very menacing look on her face. And she's holding the frying pan with two hands, like holding the single handle with two hands. And her husband is oblivious, sitting at the table, drinking his coffee, and you see her in the background walking towards him, double fisting a frying pan. And it's like, every year, spouses kill their loved ones. And then she lifts up the frying pan and then scrapes bacon onto his plate. It's like, with heart disease.
Why were you watching so much Channel 24?
Because they had Bonanza.
Okay.
And Leave It to Beaver. And Inspector Gadget was on Channel 24.
Okay.
I loved Inspector Gadget. And because like we weren't going to watch soap operas. And, sometimes on Saturdays, Channel 11 or Channel 30 would play like weird 1960s movies, like the Mad World movie, like the Mad World.
Mad
Yeah,
World.
that one, or Earthquake. And I didn't really, or Planet of the Apes. And if I had to choose between Earthquake, Planet of the Apes, and Bonanza, well, I'm picking Little Joe and Hoss every day. So I watched a lot of 24, and Larry Rice was always in his suits, very distinct suits. And was always preaching about the homeless, but I think he's causing trouble.
Well, I think the homeless are in trouble trying to find a place to live. Looks like
they are, but you can't be an enabler to where you make a safety hazard for people in a neighborhood, because I know that this tent city, I want to say, I'll ask Ryan Krull, but it's like 500 feet from a school. So if you've got needles and drugs in this tent city 500 feet from a school, that's not safe.
We'll see what Ryan says about it. He's been covering the story. We've got Jen Siess, St. Louis City SC broadcaster, with us coming up in just a moment. She'll be on the call tomorrow on Y98 as the City SC club is in Seattle to take on the Sounders. Jen Siess next on KMOX.
All hail Spamalot, the Tony Award-winning best musical comedy that will have you laughing your coconuts off. The Washington Post declares Monty Python's Spamalot is the funniest musical on Broadway. Entertainment Weekly calls it a hilarious fun fest. The Washington Post says it's unfair to laugh this much. Get your tickets now for the musical comedy event of the year, Spamalot, playing the Fabulous Fox May 5th through 17th. Tickets at fabulousfox.com.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Mostly sunny and 74 degrees right now in St. Louis. It'll be warm today, high of 85. Then thunderstorms expected later on tonight.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Gravois Bluffs. Come visit us now. Ready to refresh your space with furniture that's built to last? The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself and shop the latest in living rooms, bedrooms, and more. Visit Haverty's now in Gravois Bluffs.
When it comes to selling your home, the agent you choose matters more than anything. This is Debbie Monterey, and I'm with my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria, what should sellers really be looking for in an agent?
Thank you. You're going to select a realtor with a proven system, someone who knows how to price your home right,
create strong demand, negotiate for top dollar, and guarantee results. I see it all the time. Last year, hundreds of homes in St. Louis came off the market unsold and needed multiple price reductions. That's what happens when the right strategy isn't in place. I do things differently. My focus is to help you sell for the most money possible, not just to list your home and hope it sells. Plus, I even guarantee to sell your home for 100% market value, or I will pay you the difference.
Make sure you choose the right agent the first time. Call Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave Glover. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 24 months with no payments or interest, plus $500 off. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Mark scores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Lasered long at St. Ben! Wow! On one bounce! Berkey hammers it out of the back, and St. Ben flicks a header past the keeper. How about that? What a goal! And St. Ben gets his first goal of 2026. 2-0, 36 minutes.
It is the Chris and Amy show. I was waiting for some music. It is the Chris and Amy show on KMOX, and we are now joined by Jen Siess, city broadcaster for Y98. City will take on Seattle tomorrow on the road. They just had a win this week in the U.S. Open Cup, and Jen is with us. Hello, Jen.
Good Friday morning.
Tell us about this U.S. Open Cup, and for people who don't know, what in the hell is it?
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked that question, because I think some of us in the soccer world assume everybody knows what it is, and not everybody does. So it's the longest running soccer tournament in American soccer history. I think it's been around since 1914. And the allure of the Open Cup is that as long as you're affiliated with U.S. Soccer, you have your team registered appropriately, anybody can compete. So you can put, Ron, you and I can decide to put in a team next year. We could put in a team.
Let's go.
We could go and compete and try to beat some. You got to get through the first rounds, and then the MLS teams enter in the round of 32. So they have a little bit of time for what is usually the amateur teams to play. They get to the round of 32, and usually you would expect the pro teams to knock most of the amateur teams out. However, America loves a good upset, and there was definitely some on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, as some MLS teams were knocked out by the USL teams that are looking to have 5 wins to lift the trophy on October 21st.
Well, what can you tell us about the way St. Louis City played in their win, their first win in the U.S. Open, or in the Cup opener, I should say? What can you tell us about that style of play? And does it feel any different than the regular MLS season play?
Well, first of all, Amy, it wasn't a tie, so you should be really happy.
Well, yeah.
That's right.
That's all she talks about.
4-0. That's a lot of goals for
That's
soccer.
a lot of goals.
That's a lot of goals.
That is
for one
a lot
team.
of goals. And I'll take a moment to be petty. We didn't get beat 3-0 like Sporting KC did. Colorado Springs spanked them. DC United had to go all the way to PKs and then ended up being bounced out. And then Austin lost 2-1. So those are the 3 MLS teams knocked out. What I like about what City did on Wednesday night, it's hard to believe it was just Wednesday night. Yohan Demay put out enough I would feel as starters to say, hey, we're not just going to shy away from this Open Cup and only focus on MLS regular season play. 6 were the starters. It was Roman Berkey's first Open Cup start. Roman hasn't played in an Open Cup because usually we've put in Ben Lund. So Roman Berkey goes in, he gets I think he's probably got the record for maybe the longest assist now. That was the goal you guys played going into the same at Sangbins on the longest assist by Roman Berkey. But I really liked how there were about 5 guys that you don't normally see or we haven't seen for a while, like Thomas Totland, Makai Joyner, and a few others that we just haven't gotten to see minutes from on the first team, get in there and find flow with those that really prop up the team, like Marcel Hartl, Roman Berkey, and the others. So I really like that. Dale Schilly was right when he talked about the fact that it took about 15, 20 minutes for City to find the way it wanted to play, to find the right movement. Of course, the lower division team, such as FC Tulsa, came out with, guns a-blazing. They really have nothing to lose at that point in time. So threw everything they had at City for 20 minutes, and then Marcel Hartl scored, and it went downhill from there for FC Tulsa. So I liked how they moved the ball. I liked how they kept putting goals on the board. I don't remember what the minute was, and they really needed to do that because facing the Seattle Sounders this weekend is going to be no joke at Lumen Field.
Yeah, what is a tournament like this that's happening in the middle of a season? Is that helpful? Is it not helpful? I mean, how do players feel about it as they're in the middle of their league?
Yeah, it's not the only one, by the way. So the CONCACAF Champions Cup is also going on right now. We've got a few MLS teams that have upset the Liga teams to go on to the semifinals, like LAFC, and I think it was Nashville set a kind of history in terms of beating their team at Azteca Stadium that no MLS team has ever won there in that environment. So there's multiple tournaments that seem to go on. Now the players overall tend to like it. If you're a player, more games, less practice. You can just play all games all the time to have something at stake rather than grind it out at practice. I think for them, they really like to do that. It tends to be a little bit more of a challenge for the staff to manage and say, like, for example, Chris Durkin. You cannot put Chris Durkin out there and go, hey, why don't you take it a little bit easy this game? Because Chris doesn't know what that means. So he'll just go 110% and burn his legs. So it's kind of a challenge for the staff to manage who we want to play where. But for the players, the more games, the better.
Well, is that why they haven't historically played Roman Berkey in this tournament?
Yeah, a lot of times that we have, I feel like, without them directly coming out and saying it, but goalkeepers take some damage as well. Roman's flying around. He's, leaping right and left and landing on his shoulders. I do believe he has a shoulder that is kind of sore, not an injury per se, but just giving him a little bit of trouble here and there. But we have had times where we have used Ben Lund, who is a more than qualified goalkeeper, top level goalkeeper, to play in those games. So yeah, it was fun to see him come out there. He looked a little excited, to be honest with you, to be out there and play in this tournament, because City just hasn't made it far enough to maybe work then Roman in. So it was nice to see him come out.
Talking with Jen Siess, Y98 broadcaster here on 104.1 FM KMOX. So this U.S. Open game that happened on Wednesday, there's going to be another one coming up next Wednesday, which we'll get to in a minute. But let's talk about Seattle. What do we need to know about this one tomorrow?
Seattle, we've never won there. So St. Louis City has never been successful in getting any kind of result at Lumen Field. And the Seattle Sounders are a sound team, to use the pun correctly. They typically tend to start their season slow when it comes to results. And then sure enough, by the time you're like, oh, the Seattle Sounders about the middle of the table, you find them in the top 3 or 4. So they've got definitely attacking power, the ability to put it in the back of the net. City lost on, I think it was March 7th. To the Sounders 1-0 at the stadium. We have beaten them 1-0 before, but it's only been one time at home. So I think in 6 or 7 matches, we have only come out the winner one time. So their ability to hold the game. The last game they played a little bit of a low block. They were here in St. Louis. They managed to score a goal and then they sat back. City doesn't typically historically react really well to that. They play better when a team keeps coming at them. So it'll be interesting to see what the Seattle Sounders do at home, because they, by the way, just came off a disappointing, they won the game. Here you go, Amy, I got one for you. Yeah. They won the game. They beat Tigres, but because of goal aggregate, they do not go through on CONCACAF Champions Cup. I think they lost their first game to Tigres 2-0. So they win on Wednesday, yet they probably used their legs quite a bit, meaning they used the top lineup thinking they were going to get in semifinals, and they are not going to go through. So they're coming off a pretty big disappointment. They're going to look to make a statement at Lumen Field in front of their crazy fans.
Hey, Jen, this is Drew Young here.
What's up, Drew?
I'm good. How are you?
We're letting Drew be a participant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He desperately wants to ask you this question.
I was just gonna say, when a guy like Mekhi Joyner scores and Yohan Demay sees that, do you think that has any impact about like how many minutes Mekhi could get from Yohan Demay?
Well, that's a great question. So one, he scored on a set piece, and that's no small thing. That's a great thing to score on a set piece. That was Edward Lubin's forte. Marcel Hartle gave him that. You know that. You were down, I think, on field level. I think scoring the goal, honestly, it's going to sound weird, means less to Yohan Demay, to me, and Drew, you're at practices too. You see and hear it, than consistent work ethic and consistency. So Yohan Demay is always praising the fact that the players that he likes to work with are the ones who take feedback, who are willing to learn, willing to do something different. In the Open Cup game, Mekhi Joyner played a little bit out of his normal position, in more of that kind of wingback position. Even Mekhi said in the press conference that he needs to be a little bit more open to playing somewhere what he's not normally used to. So I think for Yohan Demay, he's definitely got his eye on him, but I think Mekhi Joyner is going to have his work cut out for him in terms of proving up and being consistent in the things that need to be done game to game and following the system Yohan Demay wants to get more minutes versus, hey, I did score that goal against that USL team, give me more minutes. I think it's going to take a little bit more than that.
Hey, Jen, I don't know if you saw this, but because I'm just seeing it this morning, but that soccer fans were really upset when the Boston World Cup Committee, switching to the World Cup now, when the Boston World Cup Committee said that tailgating would not be allowed at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. And then in I know. And then in Kansas City, they said, no, we will allow tailgating in Arrowhead. However, parking will be so limited that most ticket holders will not be able to park at the stadium and they'll have to take buses, which I guess makes tailgating harder. So did you hear about that? No, not allowing tailgating at Gillette Stadium. And that feels like sacrilegious for soccer fans.
Yeah, no, I didn't but I'm glad you're telling me now because you're right. Tailgating is a part of any sport, right? We do it. Shoot, you guys, they even do it at high school soccer games, not the kids, the parents, and not on campus off. But and somebody responsible drives. But you're right, tailgating is a part of it. I never stepped foot. I never was able to. I never got tickets into a Rams game here in St. Louis, but I did tailgate. So I did manage to be part of the kind of the fun of it without being able to be in the stadium. And there's a lot of fans, by the way, that do that. You can't always get tickets, but you can go sometimes be here in St. Louis. You go over to Schlafly. You be a part of the fun. There are different pubs around that have that kind of thing. And of course, in soccer, what we like to do is march. Our supporter sections like to march then with their flags, with their drums, with maybe a Joey Zanaboni on a microphone yelling at everybody to be excited about that. So yeah, I'm surprised that they're, I'm going to guess that it's because of the massive crowds that we are not used to seeing, and maybe crowd control, the ability to provide that kind of security. But yeah, that is a little bit disappointing for the mojo of World Cup for sure.
Oh my gosh. And I'll just say this, it's a little bit different, but in 2013, Cristiano Ronaldo and Real Madrid played Inter Milan at the Dome here in St. Louis. So in 2013, and my dad and I went to that game with a bunch of our friends and their friends who were all from Mexico. And we tailgated with them. And let me tell you, I have never tailgated until I tailgated at before a soccer game with our friends who are from Mexico. And I thought, this is a party. Even the NFL could learn from the soccer fans.
So you had a good time, yeah?
We had a great time.
Yeah, so that's kind of disappointing. And then even the one that you said at Sporting KC, allowing it, but it might be really limited. Fans will find a way. I kind of find out that, when presented with a problem like that, fans are going to find a way to celebrate the game anyway. It's just going to be interesting to see what the different cities then do to say, hey, we want to get a little party on before this the face-off really happens.
Let the soccer people party, would you?
That's right.
Why is this such a problem? Jen Siess, we will be listening. The broadcast is tomorrow, 7:30. Make that an 8:30 p.m. Start to the game. The City SC club is in Seattle to take on the Sounders. And then, of course, the game against the Fire on Wednesday of next week in that U.S. Open Cup. So, Jen Siess, good to talk to you as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. We'll have the pregame on Y98 at 8 p.m.
Beautiful. 8 o'clock, Y98. Listen to the game tomorrow. This is 104.1 FM KMOX.
A new game day favorite is coming to Busch Stadium on Saturday, April 25th, when the Cardinals host the Seattle Mariners. That day, fans take home a Victory Blue Cardinals crewneck sweatshirt presented by Purina, a light and easy style that's perfect for spring and designed to fit right into your everyday wardrobe. Available in medium and extra large while supplies last. A limited look you'll want to wear again and again. Tickets and info at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Jose Fermin. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
Every Sunday home game is a kids' Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fred Birding games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/kidssunday.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
We're starting a program here in the upper GI space called PREVENT. That's the acronym, and it's really aimed at trying to detect these cancers early and even to kind of, reverse them and understand kind of the science behind why they form.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. One day, you're under a thunderstorm warning. The next,
oh boy, it's snowing.
Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. Sponsored by
Saliga Heating and Cooling.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Ron, we talk about how divided everybody is. And I get people are very, very divided online, and they're divided on life too. Even in the real world. We think, what could bring us together? I think we found it.
Okay.
Dolly Parton. A poll of Americans' opinions about more than 20 international luminaries established that the 11-time Grammy winner and philanthropist is by far the most popular person beloved by everyone. The two closest competitors were Barack Obama and Volodymyr Zelensky, but she left them in the dust left them in the dust. 70% of people, this is through UMass market research firm YouGov, 70% of people have a favorable impression of Dolly Parton. Only 5% had an unfavorable impression of her, giving her a net favorability of 65%. The next one was Barack Obama, had the highest net favorability of 14%. He scored 50% favorability and 36% unfavorability. So that shows you how you get that net favorability. But Dolly Parton, far and away, beloved by people of all stripes.
I love Dolly Parton. She seems like a lovely person.
I don't know what to do with this information, though.
I don't either. Well, I mean,
that's all I've got.
Okay.
I don't know what to do with it. You know, when I was telling you, I was very excited, and then I realized I don't know if it's actionable.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
Well, at least we have knowledge of it now. And we can do whatever
So
with
you
it
would
that
think
we
that
want.
the next ticket, but see, Barack Obama, can he be vice president?
Obama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can?
Yeah.
So you could have a Dolly Barack or Parton Obama ticket?
Why not? She's up there, though. Do you want somebody?
Do I want someone old? I don't know. How is it going so far?
It's not particularly great.
What if she is going to redeem the reputation of old people in office? How old is she? Maybe she's not that old.
No, I think she is.
Is she?
I think she's. I'm going to look this up.
The problem is
Why didn't you look this up ahead of time? She is 80.
Oh.
She turned 80 in
Look at this.
January.
Think of how mean and critical and know-it-all our text line is. 636 says Dolly Parton is likely the closest thing to an angel that we have on earth. Wow. She's even made the text line civil.
Oh, well.
Obama can't be vice president. Dolly is America. That's another 636. I think we got to figure out how to make this an actionable data point.
Wasn't this the whole thing with Trump, is that he was going to run as vice president instead?
I know. That's the only reason why I brought it up.
No. Hey, so did you see that there are plans, and I guess these plans have been in action for about 15 years or so? There is a billionaire out of Australia who is attempting to build Titanic 2.
No,
It is a replica. Yes. Yes. It is a replica of Titanic. It's a little bit larger. It's about 13 feet wider. And the original plan was to have it operational by next year and to have it have its maiden voyage, this $540 million ship. Clive Palmer, who is a billionaire out of Australia, this is his project. Well, it is facing a few challenges, and mainly about classifications of ships and having to get approval from the United States. So it will not set sail in 2027. The hope is that it will, within the next 5 years, get out there. Would you ride on a ship that looks like the Titanic and is called Titanic?
Absolutely not.
Would your superstition get the best of you?
Or even if it's not superstition, it's
would it
propriety.
give you the skeeves?
Yeah, it would feel sketch. It would feel like you're asking for something to go wrong. Just
I think it would be
propriety.
Fine. I think it would be fine.
Here's what my mom. Here's a saying that I think is trustworthy.
Yeah.
Whenever you're about to do something, if it goes wrong, think of how stupid you're going to sound in the newspaper the next day. And I'm telling you, when you die on Titanic 2, no one is going to feel sorry for you. And if there's one thing I know is that you want people to feel sorry for you.
Well, of course, if you die.
Although no one's going to feel sad because they're going to say,
care.
what did he think was going to happen? It's called Titanic 2.
So the first Titanic was owned by a company called White Star Line. This is Blue Star Line. And there was also apparently some sort of design flaw with the new Titanic where the captain couldn't quite see over the ship's bow, which bit of a problem. Captain does need to be able to see.
Yeah.
Icebergs and such.
Hey, I thought this was kind of interesting. Did you ever have a bake sale or have to sell something and your parents bought the most of it from you because you weren't doing a good job?
No.
All right. Well, according to Bloomberg, Elon Musk's SpaceX bought 1 in 5 of the Cybertrucks that were sold in Q4. SpaceX was buying the Cybertrucks.
Does this surprise you?
More than $100 million.
Does this surprise you like at all?
Well, here's the thing. Cybertruck sales would have plummeted by 51% if SpaceX, Musk's company, and other of Musk's companies hadn't purchased so many trucks.
I saw a bumper sticker on a Tesla the other day, and it was something to the effect of, I bought this car before Elon.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It was I bought it when it was cool, so leave me alone.
One auto expert told Bloomberg that Tesla is, quote, running out of buyers for the electric pickup truck that critics say look like a toolbox.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Amy has mentioned the tent city that has gone up in Marine Villa. Ryan Krull from STL Mag has been covering that story and more. We are going to talk to Ryan when we come back on KMOX.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. And for a limited time this April, we're offering something we rarely do. Exclusive incentives designed to help you get more from your new home. From a free finished recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades to flexible perks like design credits or closing cost savings, there's an opportunity waiting for you. But these offers are available in select communities and only for a short time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Apple's foldable iPhone is facing engineering challenges that Nikkei Asia reports could delay the launch of the device from this fall. Although Morgan Stanley and Bloomberg say their checks of Apple's supply chain indicate that the foldable iPhone is still on pace for a September debut despite the engineering hiccups. Apple's biggest smartphone rivals, Samsung and Huawei, have been making foldable smartphones since 2019. I'm Jason Brooks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
If you're getting close to retirement, or maybe you're just thinking about retirement more in general, you're probably thinking about, when can you retire? Will you have enough money to live on? You know, we all have retirement questions that, let's be honest, they're overwhelming and just can stress us out. But Steve All can help answer those questions so that you'll feel more confident about this next phase of your life. Check out his show, The All Financial Hour, Saturday mornings at 10 and Sunday evenings at 6 here on KMOX.
Taking care of your health should be simple. And with the Neovitin monthly subscription, it finally is. Choose your doctor-formulated multivitamin and we'll deliver it straight to your door every month. No more running out, no more remembering to reorder, just consistent nutrition made easy. Plus, subscribers save 10% every month and can pause or cancel at any time. Visit neovitin.com and start your subscription today. Neovitin, trusted nutrition every day.
An important message from SNL Coins. SNL Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to SNL at 544-3600. SNL Coins, 544-3600. Or visit SNL Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call SNL 544-3600.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's 11 o'clock. We've got sunshine and 77 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Iran says the Strait of Hormuz is open. President Trump says the U.S. naval blockade will continue until a deal is reached with Iran to end the war. It's known that Iran has placed mines in the strait. What's not known for sure is what level of risk there is to vessels going through. Here's CBS's Charlie D'Agata.
They have been checking out that Strait of Hormuz. They went in very quickly and they passed through. And there is a level of confidence that there isn't the sort of mines there, but it's always a risk. The Iranians themselves say they don't know how many mines that they've got there.
President Trump at a Las Vegas rally yesterday said his no tax on tips policy has been a big help to working Americans. But CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns says a number of those Las Vegas taxpayers told her whatever they saved is lost to Iran war price increases.
Many we met here say rising gas prices due to the Iran war are erasing those gains.
We save a little bit of money on taxes, but we're paying so much more for groceries and for gas and for everything.
Prices are all up everywhere. Gas prices are astronomical.
Even with the Strait of Hormuz open, experts say it'll take a long time for gas prices to return to previous levels of a month or two ago, and maybe even into next year. Later today, President Trump takes his economic message to a Turning Point rally in Phoenix. Former residents of a recently condemned apartment building in South St. Louis are scrambling to relocate this morning after police raided the 6-unit complex 2 weeks ago. Some residents pitched tents in front of the complex and began living in those. Former tenant Angel Shorter tells us city officials boarded up the units this morning and began taking down the tents. She says residents can't get inside the units now, meaning they'll have to leave anything still inside behind.
I'm devastated. I don't have my medicine. I don't have my cat. I have no money now. I have nothing. I'm losing all my kids' stuff.
Reverend Larry Rice and other volunteers were at the complex helping residents gather their belongings and providing them with transportation elsewhere. From the KMOX business desk, new information about a complete closure of 6440.
If you're interested in learning more about Highway 64 construction scheduled in 2027, you may want to attend a MoDOT meeting on April 30th between 4 and 7 p.m. at 18 Rails in City Foundry. During that meeting, they're going to discuss a roughly year-long closure of eastbound 64 between Vanderventor and Compton to remove and replace that eastbound overpass, as well as rehabilitate the westbound side in the area. Roger Brand, KMOX News.
The weather is sponsored by the Missouri History Museum's Route 66 Centennial Festival, April 30th through May 3rd.
Sunshine mixing with clouds, breezy and very warm this afternoon, high 85. It'll be breezy early tonight with a couple of heavy thunderstorms marching through. There is a significant risk for destructive winds, hail, flash flooding, and even tornadoes in any thunderstorm. Then some rain and much cooler late tonight, though 50. Tomorrow, couple of showers early, otherwise windy and quite cool with clouds giving way to sunshine for the afternoon, the high just 59. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Sunny and 77 right now. Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, kids crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Well, as you just heard in Debbie's news report, a new development in the area, the neighborhood of Marine Villa, where those apartments were condemned and people were evicted. And then Larry Rice swooped in with tents and food and supplies. That those apartments were boarded up this morning, meaning people can't go in and get stuff out if they still had stuff there. And also the tents were being picked up by police. And to give us an update of exactly what happened with the eviction and how things are going with Larry Rice is Ryan Krull of St. Louis Magazine. He covered this story, and we also chat every Friday with a reporter from St. Louis Magazine. Grateful for the great work they do. Ryan, thank you for joining us this morning.
Hey, Amy, Chris. Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to chat about this and anything else you guys want to talk about.
Oh,
Like Channel 24.
no, we're not talking
and
about
Larry
Channel
Rice.
24.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to take for granted, but back in the day, at least for some of us, there was only like 4 channels.
Yeah.
So even if it was sort of the worst one on the dial, there was still a lot of eyeballs on it. So yeah, that's
Whoa, the worst one.
It was the worst one.
I mean, just, technically, aesthetically, just with there was
Yes.
a lot of snow, whatever, distortion in the in the picture. But I was still watching Bonanza despite it. So there you go.
I love it. I knew I liked Ryan Krull. Hey, Ryan, we were talking about this neighborhood, Marine Villa, and how Larry Rice had come in with tents in that neighborhood where the people had been evicted from their homes. And not only were those people staying in the tents, but because he had food and supplies and gift cards, it was also attracting other homeless people, or maybe people who were seeing what was going on there, and really created a tent city that disrupted the neighborhood. Can you set the scene for us of how this evolved into what it was as of this morning?
Sure. So the sort of short version of a kind of long troubled history of these apartments was that back in February, the city condemned them, and then they just sort of put up notices though, and they didn't really take any action. And the majority of people continued to stay there despite the building technically being condemned. And then, like you said, about 2 weeks ago, I think it was on February 2nd, the police came in and basically just kicked everyone out and said you got to go. Some of them got summons for a kind of municipal charge of staying in a condemned building. And they, according to neighbors, at least at that point, the majority of the people who had been living in those apartments long term, they got up and left. They found other housing. Maybe they went and squatted somewhere else. Maybe it wasn't a great situation, but they kind of realized that this is not the best place for me to be. So they left. But a few people stayed. And yeah, Larry Rice, he, longtime advocate of for the homeless, he came in, brought tents, food, water, and basically took what was kind of like a temporary bad situation on this block and turned it into a long-term bad situation on this block because folks kind of had a place to stay on the front lawn of these condemned apartments. And then, yeah, just as you said, every neighbor I spoke to said they'd kind of gotten to know the residents of these apartments. They were sort of familiar characters around the block. But then they just started seeing a lot of new people that they hadn't seen before show up to this newfound tent city. So it's really complicated. There's a lot of, bad actors here. The owner of the apartments, the city maybe could have handled this better. But the one thing that everyone, at least in the neighborhood, seems to agree on was that sort of Larry Rice came in and he made an already bad situation even worse.
So what can we define clearly exactly what is going on that has made the situation worse? What are the residents who live there otherwise dealing with?
Yeah, so they say that since with the tent encampment, it's created a lot of quality of life issues. There's a school less than 500 feet away. There's 500 feet away. There's 2 other schools nearby. And yeah, I mean, I was out there. There's like needles on the ground. There's folks who, clearly have some mental health struggles who are, shouting, making a lot of noise. Residents are having slurs hurled at them as they pass by, that sort of stuff. There's just the basic issues of like sanitation, like where are the folks going to go to the bathroom, that kind of thing. So it's just kind of the best case is just, this is an eyesore. Kind of the worst case scenario, this is making folks kind of feel unsafe, whenever they live right across the street from this thing, sort of in their backyard. And then the fact that there's sort of all this unseemly sort of behavior happening out in the open, again, pretty close to the school, which a lot of kids walk past to get to school.
Yeah, and I get it. It's very sad when someone is homeless, doesn't have a place to go, and you do care about that person, but you can't create a public safety hazard where, like you said, there's needles, there's drugs, there are weapons, there's a tent city 500 feet from a school where kids are walking to school. So when you look at this situation, is Larry Rice trying to create a situation that's untenable to try to force the city to help the people out more?
That is my theory for sure, and I'm not the only one who has that theory. And I should just say the neighbors, by the way, they sort of have, I think they kind of regard the denizens of the tent encampment different than they do Larry Rice. They understand homelessness, drug addiction, incredibly complicated issues, not necessarily these folks' fault for winding up here. But basically the idea is that Larry Rice, and he's very much on the record about this. He spoke to me about this pretty openly. He's long been asking both the county and the city for, he wants 60,000 square feet of land to build what he's called the City of Refuge, which would basically just be like he used to have the New Life Evangelistic Center homeless shelter downtown. It got shut down. He sort of has a new reimagining of that, this sort of massive complex that could serve virtually all of the region's homeless in sort of one spot. And yeah, it would be on 60,000 square feet of land. And he said that basically many times he'd say something like, well, if you don't want us here out in front of the apartments, give me that 60,000 square feet of land. Or if you think this is a problem, here, I've got the solution. So the theory is that, yeah, he's kind of trying to create this bad situation that's very conspicuously bad to force residents to kind of confront the issue of homelessness. And he's sort of saying, here's the problem. Here's the sort of very stark reality of the problem. And oh, by the way, I have the solution if you'll just give me what I'm asking for.
And also, as your story mentions, I think if you think of people being evicted, sometimes you think, okay, were these families, were these longtime residents who were being kicked out of these apartments because they were condemned? But your story says, no, the families used to live there a while ago at one time, but at least even for this whole year, it's been squatters, drugs, and guns moved in,
Exactly. And a lot of folks were saying, that they were talking about how they were paying rent up until the police came on April 2nd. And I think in large part that is true. But if you sort of talk to the folks a little bit more, oftentimes they were paying rent to someone. Like one person used the term subletting, like I was subletting this apartment. So they were paying rent to someone, but it wasn't the actual owner of the apartments. I think there was maybe a situation where there was like a illegal slumlord type situation where someone maybe was forced with a threat of violence was collecting money from some of these folks. But I don't think that it was necessarily towards the end there, the sort of actual owner of this property. Because like I said, basically since February, this place has been condemned and it's been technically illegal to live there.
Ryan Krull, St. Louis Magazine reporter, is with us on KMOX. So the city, the response that we're getting from the city, does it feel as if there's going to be some sort of movement in a more positive direction? I know that we heard the report earlier, right before the segment started, about those tents being cleared out. But what happens after that? Because you can clear out the tents, but you still have people that you have to worry about.
Yeah, no, So I think from the neighborhood's perspective, they're probably feeling like this morning's development was a positive one, that the police did go in and clear out this tent encampment. But yeah, that is sort of like the $64,000 question in terms of dealing with the homelessness issue of where do these folks go? It seems like oftentimes the communities they maybe kick the problem out of their backyard, but then it just goes to someone else's backyard. Then they kick it out of their backyard and it's just kind of like, passing the buck from one area to the next. So I don't know. I mean, homelessness is a quagmire that really no American city has solved for good reason, because it's such a tough problem. But I will say that I do know that the city has had people from the Department of Health and Human Services down there every day. I think there's been some reach out to try to get these folks into some sort of more long-term care, hook them up with some support services. But yeah, no, I mean, I think this is sort of a disappointing conclusion, but I think for the most part, a lot of these folks are going to wind up maybe in another encampment, maybe squatting in a vacant building, that kind of thing. So this is just kind of, the classic thing in homeless, this is why homelessness is such an issue. It's kind of relatively easy to solve it in your little corner, but it's like it's very, very difficult to sort of take a more holistic regional approach. And I guess I would just say one other thing is, even Larry Rice has told me this, and Elliot Davis, who's a big advocate for the homeless, he's told me this. He said there's no entity in the region, no municipality in the region that does more for the homeless than the city of St. Louis. And that sort of has this perverse effect, though, where just more homeless come to the city, requiring more resources to be spent on these folks. But I think really a sort of small step in the right direction would be having St. Charles County, St. Louis County, maybe Lincoln County, all chipping in, irregardless of where these folks are, to give them some support. The city is disproportionately paying for this, to a great degree.
Well, Ryan, it seems like Marine Villa is going through the ringer right now, because you have another story about city police officers have reopened a shooting range near the Gasconade exit off I-55, and it makes the Marine Villa neighborhood sound like a war zone. Have you heard this yet? Have you been in the area when they were practicing?
Yeah, I have. And yeah, I've been in the Marine Villa neighborhood a lot these past few days for multiple reasons. And yeah, I did not have to spend too long down there earlier this week, I think it was, late last week and earlier this week. Yeah, until you start hearing that gunfire. And basically the story is that the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department has, for a long time, has had this gun range in Marine Villa. And then as of a few years ago, it had fallen into just a totally dilapidated state where there was mold and walls were falling down. It got to the point actually where they couldn't even use it as you would normally use a firing range. They had to do what they called dry fire, where they were pointing the gun and, pulling the trigger, but there was no bullets in the gun. So it was sort of not an ideal situation. And the police need to keep their credentials, to stay up to date. They need to do target practice every so often. So they're having to do that elsewhere. So anyway, long story short, under this new state control dynamic we have of police, they put a lot of money into the shooting range. They got it fixed up. The police are now able to use it again. But as part of those renovations, they actually tore down this wall. And the wall was originally constructed way back in the day because every so often a bullet would fly, out of the range and land on top of the old St. Alexius Hospital at like Jefferson and Cherokee, more or less. So they had to put up a big wall just to catch the occasional stray bullet. But that wall also had the effect of it dampened the sound, so you couldn't really hear the gunfire sort of in the adjoining neighborhood. But as part of the renovations, they tore that wall down, and now especially when the wind is blowing the right direction, when it's blowing west, you can hear those gunshots as far as like a mile and a half away. Like if you're at a restaurant on Cherokee Street, for instance, you can kind of hear it faintly. If you're sort of in the Antique District or you're on Broadway, Gasconade, yeah, you can. It does sound like you are in a war zone. So neighbors are very understandably not happy about that.
So what's going to be done about that? Anything?
So I think the police are very cognizant of the issue. They haven't said this directly. They've sort of made somewhat vague statements, which I totally understand. They don't want to make a promise they end up having to not be able to make good on. But they've said, yeah, we're listening to folks. We're continuing to sort of work on this gun range. So I got a feeling they're gonna construct the wall in some fashion or put some kind of soundproofing in. The other thing that the alderwoman told me that the neighbors would really like to see would be just a little bit of notice, maybe like on Facebook or something like that. Hey, if we're going to be shooting at 9 a.m. tomorrow, that kind of thing. Just sort of like with the tornado sirens when they test them, just so folks can know, hey, this is only a test. This is nothing to be too concerned about.
Well, sounds like a good time in Marine Villa right now. So
that is rough. Oh my gosh.
We appreciate your reporting, Ryan. Thank you for being with us today.
Hey, thank you guys. Happy Friday.
Yes, and thank you for the camaraderie surrounding Channel 24. It means a lot.
Oh, my Lord.
All right. Hey, yeah. Well, next time we'll talk about I'll try to work in a few more Ponderosa references.
Yes.
Ponderosa. If we're talking about the restaurant, then yeah, I'm in.
Get with the times,
Or
Ron.
Bonanza. That restaurant was great, too. Ryan Krull, STL Magazine reporter with us. And we talk to somebody from STL Mag every Friday here on KMOX. We've got Lyle Lovett.
What?
Yeah, singer-songwriter Lyle Lovett and actor coming up on the show. He'll be with us at 11:30. He is performing May 13th, 14th, and 15th at City Winery here in St. Louis. This is KMOX.
If you have been in a car accident in the past and have settled your case, I may have some good news. Some unethical lawyers have people known as runners who come directly to your hospital room or home and solicit your case. It's a disbarable offense. Anyone that would hire these scumbags needs to have their heads examined. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Now for the good news. If this happened to you, we will sue these lowlifes and fight to get all your fees back. And then look and see if these bottom feeders also malpracticed your case and sue them for that too. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Visit forthepeople.com for a free consultation or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. If someone does this to you, call the Bar Association and report them. Let's fight these bums. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers, not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. It's a great time to buy a brand new McKelvey home, and we have a great deal for you. Special closeout savings at Summerlin and Inverness in St. Charles on move-in ready market homes with savings of up to $124,000 with 4.75% financing. Select from ranch, 1.5 or 2-story McKelvey homes. Hurry before it's too late. Visit McKelveyhomes.com. Isn't it time to move up to McKelvey?
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER. Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. And for a limited time this April, we're offering something we rarely do. Exclusive incentives designed to help you get more from your new home. From a free finished recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades to flexible perks like design credits or closing cost savings, there's an opportunity waiting for you. But these offers are available in select communities and only for a short time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
So you can watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and we appreciate it whenever you do that. And you can leave us comments and questions, and a question from Rick, who wants to know what we thought of the final episode of DTF St. Louis.
No, not we.
Well, me, because you didn't see it.
That's
but just in case you were unaware, the show did end last Sunday. It was a limited series. I thought it was good. I thought the whole show was pretty good. I was involved in the story, and I wanted to see how the whole thing ended. I'm not going to tell you what happened, so you can go back and watch it for yourself. It just, as I mentioned a million times, my problem with the show was I'm from St. Louis. I'm from this area, and so I know all the references they failed at and the ones they didn't execute very well. So that was my problem. My problem with the show is I spent too much time thinking about how the St. Louis stuff, the St. Louis specific stuff, was either not very well addressed, not addressed at all. It didn't have a feel for St. Louis. It just threw some names in there thinking you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I know that neighborhood. That was the biggest problem I had with the whole show. But I thought the show itself was pretty good.
There you go. But I agree with you from what you've said. They should have tried a little harder. Hey, I've got good news because you kept asking, right? What company is trying to cut prices? Because we say once prices go up, companies generally don't bring them down. Remember the collusion with the Egg Council?
Right.
I mean, if you can't trust the Egg Council, who can you trust? Nobody.
Have they been known as a trustworthy organization?
You know what? Their marketing team is excellent because I grew up believing that the Egg Council had my best in mind.
Okay.
PepsiCo is who you can trust. Why is that? Well, Pepsi did what a lot of other companies did during the COVID era. They, quote, leaned heavily into price increases to combat inflation in the aftermath of the COVID pandemic. And they actually hiked prices by double-digit percentages for 8 straight quarters from 2022 to 2023 before they settled into more moderate price increases. And, of course, PepsiCo has a lot of brands, not just soda, but like chips and all of that. So those price increases took a toll on sales, and consumers stopped buying Frito-Lay snacks. Think of how big the Frito-Lay brand is.
Yeah.
And PepsiCo's market value fell by more than $40 billion from 2023 because they had their prices too high. So in last September, activist investor Elliott Investment Management took a $4 billion stake in the company and began pressing heavily for PepsiCo to further price cuts and other changes. They wanted them to accelerate their price cuts that they had started before this activist investor came in. So PepsiCo agreed to accelerate its price cuts late last year. And in February, before the Super Bowl, PepsiCo slashed U.S. prices on Lay's, Doritos, Cheetos, and Tostitos brands by up to 15%. So like a Walmart on Thursday showed a 9.25 ounce bag of Doritos, for instance, went from $4.48 to $3.97. And because of those price cuts, revenue for PepsiCo jumped 8.5% in the last quarter, which would be the first quarter, I should say, this past one, the first quarter. So that's the market working. People stopped buying PepsiCo products because they raised their prices and it really, really hurt their bottom line. So then they cut prices by up to 15%, dropped them a lot, and people returned. That's a company that is cutting price. And they did it. You could say they did it for the wrong reasons, but that's capitalism, is you're always looking out for number one. So PepsiCo, looking out for number one, raised prices. Consumers, looking out for number one, said, I don't think so. I'm not going to buy those chips. And then PepsiCo cut their prices, which benefited both of us.
You mentioned Elliott Investment, which owns it. You know what else they have a huge stake in?
Oh, wait, let me guess.
We talked about them earlier today, and it's one of the reasons that the company sucks now. We talked about them with Hancock and Kelley.
Oh, Southwest.
Yes, they are also an investment firm.
Then why aren't they doing better with Southwest?
I don't know. Maybe because people are probably still buying Southwest flights.
Guys.
So this is how you show them.
Yep.
Okay. And this goes to an argument that I've made probably 3 million times when it comes to baseball tickets. And whenever you cannot stand how much a baseball player makes, these guys make too much money. Because you think if they lower the salaries for the players, your tickets are going to be less expensive. That's not how it works. The way it works is you stop going to ball games, you stop going to hockey games, you stop going to football games, and then ticket prices come down. It's demand. It's the only way to show a company that you will the only way you can entice a company to lower prices is to not show up.
Well, yeah, that's supply and demand. That's basic market economy 101. And so again, I kind of said this too with like McDonald's offering junk, their energy drinks. If people don't buy them, they're not going to offer them. And the same thing with the prices of Frito-Lays, that they were too expensive, and so people pulled back.
Yep.
And that's, like I said, that is the free market. That's how it works. And I will say, like you brought up, that's not how it works with paying like baseball players. Like that's different than like the chip situation.
Right. It is. The point I'm making is that people think your tickets are expensive to games because the players make so much money. That's not why.
Yeah.
Tickets are expensive because you're still paying for them.
But I think we should, I like that Elliott Investment Company responded to people not buying Frito-Lay. We got to do something to get Southwest.
Yeah.
We got to get Southwest back.
Southwest is in a death grip of the worst kind. Lyle Lovett, singer-songwriter, coming to St. Louis next month, and he will join the show next segment on KMOX.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good conversation and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
78 degrees, very warm with some sun today. And then turning cloudy, but we might have a high up of 85, upwards of 85 degrees. A couple of heavy thunderstorms later this evening, could be some damaging winds, a low of 51. Weather sponsored by the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/radio and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/radio for 60% off. legacybox.com/radio.
It's already April. Maybe you're planning to have some get-togethers, a graduation party, Father's Day cookout, who knows? But is your outdoor space ready? Maybe you never got around to all those improvements you had been planning. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. And whether you're looking for a new deck or a patio, a pergola, a sunroom, a screen room, or all of the above and then some, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can make the magic happen because they have 58 years of experience and they have thousands of satisfied customers. And they offer real value because when you spend the money, you get a project that is going to last for years to come. They only ever use the highest quality materials. They have their own installation crews. That's important because those crews have years of experience. If you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 20% off your next outdoor project. Give them a call, stop by, or they'll come to you. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat.
It's Amy Marks, Coors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX. And we are very glad to go to the guest line again this morning. And now we are joined by singer and songwriter. He's won multiple Grammys, and he will be in St. Louis May 13th, 14th, and 15th at City Winery, which is at the City Foundry. It's Lyle Lovett joining the show today. How's it going, Lyle?
Hey, Chris. Going great, thanks. Looking forward to coming to St. Louis.
Well, we are looking forward to having you here. The new tour is called Songs and Stories, and you're going through just a handful of cities here. We're fortunate enough to have you in St. Louis for 3 nights. What can people expect there?
Well, that's one thing I'm excited about it. Almost every time I've ever been to St. Louis, I've come in one day and left the next, or left even the same day. So I'm excited about getting to spend several days in a row in St. Louis. And the City Winery venues are so thoughtfully done and are so intimate. I'll be able to be. I'll be there not completely by myself, but with in St. Louis, I'll be bringing one of the musicians that I have worked with over the years, and so I'll just have one person with me on stage, and I'm looking forward to that intimate connection with the audience.
And Lyle, you are from Texas, and your music obviously blends different styles like country or jazz or folk. And then there's so much storytelling. Your music has so much storytelling. When you were a kid, did you see that foreshadowed in what you liked, whether it was your music or reading or writing, that you would become such a storyteller?
Well, I think the narrative exists in all great songs, really, and those are the kind of songs that I've always aspired to try to write songs that that start somewhere and end up somewhere else, and that fill in the blanks in an interesting way in between. But all songs that I've grew up listening to. Songs that I admire, songwriters I admire, were all storytellers. Texas singer-songwriters like Guy Clark and Townes Van Zandt and Stephen Fromholtz and Willis Allen Ramsey and Jerry Jeff Walker and Willie Nelson. Certainly, those artists become characters in their songs, and you imagine they're living out the stories in those songs. The Songs and Stories name for the City Winery shows really was came from Shlomo, the gentleman who books the City Wineries, and so I liked his thought about that. I mean, I tell stories even when I do shows with my band. I try to explain the songs and let the audience know where they came from. But I'll be doing that, and playing, in a smaller configuration will give me a chance to play songs that I don't always get to play with the band. So the sets will be a kind of a mixture of probably all my albums and maybe some unrecorded songs as well.
Lyle Lovett is joining us here on KMOX, and that Storytellers, there was the show on VH1 from years ago, which I used to love, when you'd have an artist in an intimate setting and they would talk about each song before they would go into it. And you said that's something you've always done?
Yeah, well, you bet. I came up playing the songwriter rooms in Houston and Dallas and Austin. The first original music club I ever played is a place that still exists. Started in 1969, and they're still doing shows there. It's a small venue in Houston called Anderson Fair Retail Restaurant. And I played there by myself when I started playing, and as a way to connect the songs, as a way to engage the audience of a maximum capacity of 75 people in those days. But rarely did I have that many people at my shows, but as a way to engage the audience, I would talk to them and explain the songs and try to drop breadcrumbs about what to listen for as the song went by.
Now, you went to Texas A&M University, and you played a lot of concerts when you were first starting around College Station, right?
I did indeed, and played anywhere anyone would let me. In those days, I had a regular gig at the local Mr. Gaddy's pizza place for a couple of years, and at an independently owned hamburger joint called Dead Solid Perfect. I played there every Sunday night for 2 years. I played the Holiday Inn. I played the Texas Tumbleweed Steakhouse. I played just anywhere they would let me. I played the coffee house on campus, and an organization I was a part of in my first couple of years in school, and I was just eager to play anywhere I could, and whenever I got offered a gig, I never said no.
Did you ever have a gig that you played where you regretted it or thought maybe I shouldn't be here, or I mean, maybe it's possible you just love everywhere you play because it's your music, and when you get a chance to play it in front of people, it's great.
Well, that part of it is, that part of it is true. When you have a chance to play, playing anywhere, anytime is a privilege. When people come to hear you, when people support you, I mean that is a privilege. But as you as you make progress, there are places that are sort of better environments, and it's nice to be, it was nice to transition from playing the pizza place when people were more interested in their crust to getting to play an original music venue where people were actually listening for songs. I mean, that was a nice transition to make, although, those 2 years in the pizza joint were valuable to me. I mean, it was a great place to try to figure out what I was doing.
I know maybe this is very, very well known, but I just think it's pretty funny and clever of how you ended up naming your band, your ensemble, the Large Band, as opposed to Big. Can you walk us through how you ended up with the Large Band?
Well, from my first record on, I included some songs that had horn arrangements, and in write-ups, the arrangements were sometimes referred to as big band, but big band is a specific form of music, a specific style of jazz, and what I was doing was definitely not big band, but yet there were a lot of people in the band, and so when my producer from Nashville, Tony Brown, and he said, I think we should have a name for the band. What do you think it should be? And I looked around. I was thinking of that big band sort of misconception in my mind, and I looked around and at all the people in the rehearsal room, and I said, well, how about the Large Band? Let's call it the Large Band. And he looked at me. He said, really? I said, yeah, definitely. Let's call it the Large Band.
And then you have your 2007 album. It's not big, it's large.
My then girlfriend, wife, April, thought of that because people refer to it as the big band all the time. And, I mean, we don't correct people. I'm just glad anybody thinks of me at all, and so if somebody calls it the big band, I don't correct them, but I just thought that would, I thought she had a great idea as a way to put it out there. It's not big.
It's large.
Yeah, it's large. Lyle Lovett is with us on KMOX, and we have somebody watching on YouTube, a listener, viewer, I guess, watching on YouTube, says they love you on Blue Bloods when you were on that show. You played the sheriff on that show. And
nice.
How do you get into acting? How is that a thing that happens for a musician? And how much do you like that compared to being on stage and performing for people?
I was offered a part in Robert Altman asked me if I would called me and asked me if I wanted to be in one of his films. Gosh, back in 1990, he called me. I had done a show. I'd done a tour that summer with Ricky Lee Jones, and we played the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. Altman and his wife, Catherine, came at the invitation of their granddaughter, Signe Courier, and Signe brought them to the show. Altman called me afterwards, and he said he introduced himself on the phone and said, "Hey, you want to be in a movie?" And I said, "Well, sure." I was a Robert Altman fan.
Yeah.
My parents took me when I was in 7th grade at Trinity Lutheran School in the Houston area, took me to see MASH, which was an R-rated movie. I was the only 7th grader in the Lutheran school that had ever been to an R-rated movie, so I was instantly cool, for at least a couple of weeks. But I had been an Altman fan since then. And when he called and asked me if I'd be in one of his films, I was just elated. It's because of Altman and I worked on 5 different Altman films, acted in 4 and did music for 1. And it was because of him that I've gotten other offers to act. I've never pursued acting in the way actors do, but every now and then somebody thinks of me and offers me a part. The writer producer on Blue Bloods, Ian Biederman, was at that very same show in 1990 at the Greek Theater, and he was just a youngster at the time, but he grew up to be a producer and a writer, and he made up the part of it was a Texas Ranger for me in Blue Bloods, and had me in 3 episodes toward the end of the series. I was on for an episode 3 years in a row, and was just thrilled to get to be a part of it. I got to work with Donnie Wahlberg, who's also
That's right.
Known for his music, and so that Donnie and I got along great right from the start, and it was it's just a thrill when I get to do an acting part. When I go out with my band, or even in a small setup like I'll be in St. Louis, I'm responsible for everything. I'm responsible for the whole show. And when I get to do an acting part, I'm not responsible for everything. I'm just responsible for my part. And so it in a way, instead of having to be the band leader, I get to be a guy in the band when I have a part acting in something. And I really do enjoy that. And I enjoy just seeing a different artistic effort, to see how analogous the collaborative nature of a film production is to making a record, to playing live out on the road. It's just as collaborative, but the vocabulary is a little different, and seeing that difference is something I enjoy.
Well, Lyle, we are looking forward to having you back in St. Louis. We know you were here at the factory last year, and that's a really cool venue. City Winery is a great venue. It's very intimate, and I think people are really going to enjoy it. May 13th, May 14th, and 15th at City Winery at City Foundry here in St. Louis. You can go to lylelovett.com, and you can get tickets for that. Lyle, thank you so much for being on the show with us. I'm looking forward to the show and really happy that you jumped on with us today.
Well, thank you for helping us get the word out. I'm excited to come to St. Louis, and if you all can come to a show, gosh, I'd love to be able to say hello. So please let me know.
That would be awesome.
We'll take you up on it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lyle.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Lyle Lovett, Grammy Award winner 4 times. 4 Grammy Awards, singer-songwriter, actor. Lyle Lovett is coming to St. Louis, as I mentioned. lylelovett.com for tickets. It is an evening with Lyle Lovett, songs and stories. May 13th, 14th, and 15th at City Winery. That's coming up here in St. Louis. This is KMOX.
Here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock, masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Don't miss the Route 66 Centennial Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Bring back memories of the Mother Road's stunning natural scenery and roadside attractions, and explore its complex history and impacts on communities across the region. Featuring a concert by Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, food trucks, lectures, kids crafts, and more. All activities are free. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Our annual Customer Appreciation Days are back. Save 10 to 20% on your garden and landscape needs on April 24th through 25th. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com for more details. KMOX will be live on site Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Ranj, I have an update for you.
Yeah.
And it is from a loyal listener.
I don't know what's happening
Sorry,
here, but there is a
bit of
television
chaos.
in this room that has just suddenly turned itself on and is blasting programming, and we don't know what it is, and nobody can figure it out.
That's okay. This is, you know what this is? This is a test from Steve to see if we can stay focused when chaos is happening.
Yeah.
At any rate, we have a loyal listener, Kelley, who lives at 1 Cardinal Way. And Kelley,
what's up, Kelley?
Has given us an update on your weeds. Kelley has been making sure that the weeds are around. Have you gotten them yet? And so he sent me a picture from yesterday of the weeds. And I'll show it to you here. He says they have not turned green yet.
So they're just sticks right now.
The weeds, don't have leaves. They're not budding. I'm not sure if they're dead. Maybe the asbestos.
I don't care.
But the weeds are still there. So, Ranj, we need to talk to the Arch Park
Foundation,
the Gateway Arch
Ryan
Park
McClure.
Foundation and Ryan McClure. He is a friend of the show.
Yeah.
And I think, Ryan, we really need to get those weeds. They're still there, Kelley. Thank you, Kelley, for the update. Thank you for, can you keep, Kelley, we need you to keep an eye on them.
Thanks, Kelley.
Until we get those weeds for Ranj.
I mean, what more do you want me to do? I feel like I've done enough
you're
here.
gonna have to probably break in and climb to the top and get them yourself.
I'm not scaling that building.
You have to scale it.
I'm not doing it.
You can make a ramshackle slipshod type parachute. And then once you get the weeds, put them in a bag and a parachute. You can parachute them down.
I don't care how they get down to me.
No,
I don't care if anybody gets hurt in the process.
You can't say that. Can't say that.
Well, okay, yes, I shouldn't say that. I do care. Do not hurt yourself trying to get those weeds, okay?
Unless you love Ranj very much.
Unless you love me and you want to show me how much you love me. Hey, let's all do this, okay? Can we agree on one thing? Let's just please have a nice weekend. Going to be some storms tonight, but just live through the storms. We'll be good tomorrow. We'll have a great weekend. It's going to be fun. You're all going to love it. And then we'll come back on Monday and do this all over again at 9 a.m.
It never ends, does it?
It just doesn't.
You know, this is a Sisyphean task. This show, it's like Sisyphus rolling the rock up the hill and then rolls back down. Every day we got to push that rock up the hill again until Steve yells at us.
And you are my rock. Just pushing up a hill. Not in the way you... All right, we got to go. Gas House Gang is coming up. We have Mike Claiborne, Matt Pauley, and me. Andre Palante will join the show. The Gas House Gang is next on